Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you are amongst the 50% of the people watching this who have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it is live. And most importantly, if you would like to join the debate, there is a link in the info box below this video. With the page you are currently listening to me on muted, simply click that link to join the discussion and express your views on the shape of the Earth. There are a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number 1, please do not swear. If you do, you will be ejected, and if you are, please do not try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You will be warmly welcome back on the next stream. In a moment, I'm going to transition across to the Hangout as we have got a guest in there already, and I will make an introduction shortly. But before I do, please share the show on social media. This is very important as, of course, it increases the live audience, which in turn increases the chances of having a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you are new to this channel or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. And with that, I will make my first introduction. So we have been joined by Sleeping Warrior. How are you doing, Sleeping Warrior? Good to have you here.
I'm doing good, Nathan. You're late this morning. Did you have a lie-in?
No. I take my kid to a Gymboree class, it's called, on a Thursday.
I've been scratching at the microphone waiting to catch up with you because there was quite a good discussion yesterday. And I'm hoping that Paul shows himself because Paul's claim yesterday was that refraction can account for it all. And today I'm hoping that he arrives because I'd like to show Paul some scientific papers from MIT that show that refraction does not do what he thinks it does. So if you're out there, Paul, get yourself in here. Let's have a discussion. 2 pieces of paper, 2 pieces of evidence that contradict what you think is happening. So come on, Paul, waiting for you. Come in. Let's sort it out. Ranty's also going to make an appearance because he wants to correct and show that he was actually trying to correct the position with regards to the stitched image that I gave them the wrong one. But I didn't realize that there was a different one. And I didn't see Ranty trying to correct the position.
That did get shown on the show. I did actually say it. It was because there's so much talking when there's 11 people on the panel. You can't expect a note that's come through from the chat feed to make it to an audience member who's caught up in that. Anyway, we're joined by Make4. How you doing, Make4? Good to have you here. Can you hear us?
Hey, what's up?
Good to have you.
How you guys going?
Want to Make4?
Hey, what's up?
Have you been keeping up to date with the Flat Earth Debate?
Well, trying to.
Have you seen the last couple of hangouts where we've had Paul on and we've been back and forth?
Trying to get that Isle of Man thing down. I was a bit busy and I kept getting sniped or cut out. So I mean, I don't know. I didn't see much of it, but seems like even just being able to see that island alone to me sounds pretty dodgy. But I don't know. I don't want to talk about the silly, crazy refraction stuff. Yeah, no, I do, but I don't have a say in it. That's all.
Yeah, I mean the refraction thing. If Paul does come on today, and I don't think he will, but if he does come on, MIT papers are going to contradict Paul and show him that refraction cannot do what he thinks it can do. So he'll probably be in bed conveniently. But notice the omission of Miles Davis. He was one of the protagonists in this at the start. He hasn't been around for 2 days, at least 2 days, probably more. Are you avoiding us, Miles? If you're out there, join. Let's get this sorted. Microbloganism. If you're out there, you've had a chance to look at the most recent stitched paperwork or most recent stitched image. Micro, if you're out there, join. Let's have a chat. Ranty, come on. Where are you? Get on.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Sleeping Warrior. Sorry to interrupt you, Make4. It seems to me that they're under the impression that they can just fudge the maths and say it's a mirage. In other words, we're looking at something, physically looking at it, it's there, it's in a picture, and they're basically saying, that's not really there. It's behind the curve, although you can still see it because it's a mirage. That's basically what they're saying. And it's nonsense.
Well, Paul's already admitted that he will argue non-standard refraction no matter how flat it appears to be. No matter how often, no matter how flat, he'll always argue non-standard refraction. So I spent yesterday reminding myself of some of the more important evidences against refraction doing what Paul did. And I forgot to deal with them yesterday because I always summarize it into the straightforward bit that flat earthers understand and that ball earthers do understand but dismiss. And that is that the standard refraction calculator at 7/6 of the radius of the Earth does not match is not the same maths that they say it is based on, because there is no mention of the radius of the Earth in the maths that they say it's based on. In other words, they've added the radius it's a presupposition. It's the presupposition that we live on a ball. But if we don't live on a ball, then the maths then is totally different. And that's the whole point. But yesterday I forgot about the actual empirical nature of the evidence that would prove the point completely. And I allowed it to go on, and I failed yesterday. I failed science. I failed flat earthers. I failed the whole discussion on refraction because I forgot about the other evidence that basically proves that refraction does not do what Paul thinks it does. So yes, you're right. They think that they can argue the mathematics to argue it away, but look at the evidence. I mean, is there crazy refraction going on there? Is there any like Fata Morganas, inferior mirage, superior mirage? Is there anything that looks out of the ordinary other than the fact that the visibility is clear and we can see further? And the answer to that question, of course, is no. It looks exactly the way you would expect it if you could see from New York to London, for example. Like they always say, oh, why can't you see from the east coast of America across to, say, Spain? And it's like, well, because there's water in the way. There's water in the atmosphere. But if you get less water in the atmosphere, you can see further. And obviously that's what we were doing on that particular day. So
further to that, their argument is that that's extreme circumstances. A very clear day. Well, that's extreme, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, literally, it is. If there was no moisture in the atmosphere, you could see further if you had enough magnification. The thing that stops us from seeing all this distance that they demand of us is moisture. It's water, a little bit of temperature, a little bit of pressure variance, but essentially it's moisture in the atmosphere. And over 60, 70, 80, 90 miles, that mounts up. You're effectively looking underwater, like in a swimming bath. You can't see right the way to the very end of the swimming bath because it fades to blue. Well, that's what our atmosphere does. It fades to blue in exactly the same way. So this nonsense about seeing why can't we see across the land from one continent to another continent? It's because of the moisture. Last thing Ranty said to me was he was answering the door. So he's either got the pop man round or he's got distracted.
When I was obviously considering a lot of this yesterday after the debate because they're essentially putting forward their best debunking, and when you actually look at the image, for them for their proposal to make sense, the whole thing would have to be a mirage. And in reality, we've got half an island that all the maths would say that you could see it even if we were on a globe, the top half of the island. And the bottom half of the island, we shouldn't see. That's the bottom line here. And what they're saying is, well, it's therefore all a mirage, even the bit that we can actually see. Because in the photo, it's just as clear as of an image at the top of the island as it is at the bottom of the island. You know, you can see below where you're not supposed to see. So to argue that, well, the bottom half of the island's a mirage and the top half of the island, well, we could see that because we can see it beyond the curve, it's preposterous, really.
I agree. Have you noticed how quick they are to change the argument from a point of proof to an argument of semantics, and therefore it's just the way you're interpreting it. When we bring up papers, when we bring up evidence, actual science, their science, that doesn't support what they say. Because when it comes down to the interpretation, for example, of a sentence or a particular word in a sentence, then it becomes about me being semantical, and me being like me, I'm nitpicking. But this is, if it was the other way around, and it was their paper that they were presenting, and there was one word in it that changed the context or changed the meaning of the whole sentence, would we be allowed to argue back that they were being semantic and we could just dismiss it flippantly? No, of course not. They would demand that we applied their science. But when it comes down to their science, if it goes against their views and perceptions and beliefs and dogma, they don't like it. They claim that I'm being pedantic. No, actually, I understand what the meaning of the word. What was the refraction word that they were arguing over? Amazing. I understand what the word amazing means. I know what that word means. I don't have to be a scientist to understand the word amazing. It's a very normal, everyday word that all of us understand. And there are no amazing atmospheric effects in that image. It looks exactly the way you would expect it if you could see further. It's completely consistent with a flat Earth. Oh, but you don't know the meaning of the word.
Just because there's amazing. No globus here, I'm going to have to put the other side of the argument forward, and my wife's just done it for me, which is to say, well, if you were to see an exceptionally clear day, would you not go, wow, it's amazingly clear today?
But is it refraction in the context of refraction and bendy light? Is it amazing in that context? I agree it's amazing in the clarity, but clarity is not per definition refraction. Clarity is not refraction. So it's amazingly not refraction. So yeah, amazing is in, yes, you can see further, but it's not satisfying the definition for refraction. Because refraction by Magic Mix and his bendy light pantomime is bending light.
But there is an inherent problem here, which is that, as you've pointed out, the further you look, the more atmosphere you look through, therefore the more effects of refraction you will see in that image. In other words, if you could see, let's say you could see 300 miles as opposed to 150 miles to Ireland, you're going to be looking through, even if it's a tiny amount of moisture in the air, that's compounded with distance. And their argument is that, well, that causes more refraction. The further you look, the more it will be refracted from behind the curve. That's their argument.
I agree, but don't forget what they interpret and apply refraction to mean. They interpret and apply refraction to be bendy light. We interpret refraction to apply, the way we apply refraction is distortion of what we see. It doesn't allow for any curvature of a bendy of light. Yeah, we know light will bend a little tiny bit, and that's acceptable. We accept the negligible point. But we don't accept that the refraction of light is bending so much so to account for perfectly the curvature of the Earth. That is extraordinarily coincidental. Don't you think that light only ever bends down and it only ever bends to the contour of the shape of the Earth? I don't find that a persuasive position based on the refraction. The correct position of refraction is the application of the Skunk Bay footage that I always cite, because it shimmers, it moves up and down. It doesn't just move down, and that's the bit that they can't get their head past.
Well, that moving up and down, they have co-opted, reverse engineered, and said that things are behind the curve of the Earth when they are obscured by what you're describing in the Skunk Bay footage. And they've just reverse engineered it. So they're saying, well, no, that's actually behind the curve. And then when that drops, when that effect drops, well, it's being brought back by refraction. In other words, they've just reverse engineered the effect, in my opinion.
Of course, but that is, of course, why the Skunk Bay footage is fantastic, because, yes, you could argue that with the thing in the background, the mound in the background, because, yeah, it does look like you could interpret it that way. But when you see that peninsula in the foreground and it's stretching and shrinking, that ain't going further away from you and coming back. It's being distorted on the y-axis and only the y-axis, not on the z-axis. So, yeah, I see your point, but that's why the value of the Skunk Bay footage is fantastic, because it gives you not just something in the background, it gives you something in the middle ground. And if it was what they were saying, you would see it moving further away, coming towards you, further away, coming towards you. It doesn't do that. It moves up and down.
I'll put a call out in the chat to any Globe heads, much as I like playing devil's advocate for the Globe.
Go on, microbloganism. I'm sure you're out there. You've had the paperwork. You've had the stitched image. I'm sure it won't take you more than 24 hours to get back to us. I appreciate it's early morning for you, but you were here yesterday.
And joined by Ranty. How you doing, Ranty?
Yeah, not so bad.
Ranty, just show them for the benefit of the audience the parts where you were correcting me yesterday when you were, or the day before, when you were saying, no, that's the wrong image. Don't give them that. Don't give them that. Just present that to them while you're here, because obviously you know where it was.
Yeah, okay. Basically, the first day that we presented this evidence, I've paused it. Basically, this is Flat Earth Debate 77. Ding ding. I think the time's 48:18. Now, there's a lot of. I was watching the debate last night. I actually watched it this morning, so I've only got about halfway through. But there's a lot of contention about this cloud here and the dropping off of the land at the other side, and it hadn't been correctly proportioned or something. Well, as you can see, this cloud here isn't repeated here as it was in the original image that I sent to you. Now, I sent that original image to you. Basically, it was a very quick draft, if you remember. And I said, look how much you were seeing. And, then I actually went back and redid it all. And we presented this complete composite where there isn't any overlaps or any extended land at all. And you can see that in the Flat Earth Debate 77. Also, in the next hangout, the same hangout, Flat Earth Debate 77, when they were asking right at the end of the video, for this composite image, as you can see here, I am saying I sent him the new image just now. He is using the old one. He needs to send the other image that I've just sent him, blah, blah. It goes on like that for about the next 2 minutes or so with me screaming, basically, you've got the wrong image that you're presenting to them.
Yeah, again, I think it was made clear in the Hangout that you had literally just done it. You know, you just finished it when we started, the better image. And what he'd been working with was, slapped together in a few minutes just to get an idea of how it could be done. And you were clearly telling people that that was the wrong image. So for them to rip that to shreds, I mean, I knew it was happening while they were doing it because you'd told me to tell Anthony that he got the wrong image, and I did try. It's just one of those things. But so, on the other hand, they could have been right. You could have slapped together the image. You didn't. You actually went to great efforts and took hours and hours over it, and then represented it on the very next Hangout with all lines drawn to reference absolutely everything. It couldn't have been more accurate. I was blown away by it. Directly after after Paul's attempt to do the same thing. So, it just seems like they've got that image and then gone away and tore it up, and unfortunately for them, they've wasted their time, which is one of those things. The issue was that Anthony just happened to have he only had the rough draft of the first composite that I put together, and when they asked for the image, he uploaded that image, not realising that the one we'd been presenting and working with on your Hangout, the first one that we ever presented, was this particular image, which was the full composite without any issues with the land not matching up, the clouds not matching up. So everything that we've presented on your Hangout, the 3 Hangouts that we've done this on now, has ultimately been with the correct proportions and the correct composite put together. We never used any composite that Anthony provided them with. Absolutely not.
And again, for the benefit of everybody else, I did not have this image that he's showing on screen. I only had the first one. And in the context of which I had that first one, we weren't looking at the far distant land at that point. We were looking at what we could identify that was far right. Could
I also just say, though, if I had still been in the Hangout, if I hadn't been sniped out, I would have been able to address that to the ballers immediately and save them hours of time going over the original image that you sent to them, because I could have said to them clearly in the Skype on live, saying, this is the wrong image, here is the real image. But unfortunately, I got sniped out in this particular Hangout. So I wasn't able to get the message to you to tell them. So I'm sorry, ballers, but when you snipe someone out, things like this can happen.
And to be honest, on that basis, because he was sniped, I'm going to retract my apologies on Ranty's behalf for the presentation of the thing. I didn't realise that he was sniped, and that's why he wasn't in there, because he was actually sniped. I'm not apologising whatsoever. The direct consequence of him being sniped was that we were unable to give you the accurate information, and then you spent time on it. And I originally apologised, and I retract that on the basis of Ranty being sniped. It's the way the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid.
It looks like he's gone again.
So, right, Nathan, do you want to add him back in?
I will. I want to clear some accounts up as well, if I may, which is that lots of people are saying, what's with the CGI? Now, there is a massive difference between a completely computer-generated image, layered, and then presented to the public, comparing that to individual images that have been stitched together side by side. In other words, there's no overlap. You can literally, if we choose to, we could use one of those images. In other words, it doesn't have to be a composite that we use.
And also in context, we're not. Let me just add Ranty. Right, Ranty should be back in here. Ranty.
Oh, hang on, just ringing. There we go.
Ranty should be back in now. Ranty, you there? I think what's happened is there's been multiple calls. Hang on.
Oh yeah.
There's multiple calls. Let me get him into this call.
Okay. Easier if you get him in on Skype, if I'm honest.
See, sniping doesn't stop us, boys and girls. It just causes problems that we can get past, but doesn't benefit anybody. Right, so I think if I share my screen now with you, Ranty now should be able to be heard and get his voice across. Ranty, just do a mic check.
Hello, can you hear me?
Nath, did you hear Ranty then?
Nope. It's really bad. It's really quiet.
Right, hang on. Share screen.
It might be better if I call him, just because I've got a better, clearer desk. I think both of them have been sniped anyway, so I'll bring them both back in on a Skype call. There's HootTube joined just to snipe people. Not that it may or may not be the real HootTube. I don't know.
Yo.
Got Ranty as well.
I should be here.
Perfect. I can hear both of you. Pretty sure Make 4 has also been sniped out.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Wait,
I know he's still here, amazingly.
Hey.
Make 4, if you want to put your if you want to, I'll give you my Hotmail. If you add me to Skype, if you do get sniped, you can then I'll add you to the Skype call, and then you'll be protected.
All right. Okay. Oh, Nathan, I'll just type it in the chat there, and Nathan can do it. If he doesn't mind.
I'll just go to my photos so the public doesn't see your email address.
Yeah, I've just realised that I'm not in the side chat for you to pass it to me.
It's all right. I can do that.
Yeah, just pass it over on the Skype chat, Nathan,
Will
and
do.
I'll add him to my Skype. And if he does get sniped, then he can just rejoin, and it has no effect other than causing disruption. But you're setting the standard though by sniping everyone, because it just means that all the flat earthers will be ring fenced in the Skype call, and all the ballers will be left vulnerable in the chat. If that's the way you're going to play it, guys, you're creating history by playing games.
Well, the other thing they
We'll
started
always be
doing
one
was
step ahead of us.
we'd have a sock or whatever, a random account join, just to mute me, so that you couldn't be heard in the Hangout. So the first time it happened, I didn't notice, and for ages I was saying to you, "Oh yeah, of course they can hear you in the Hangout. You've got the clearest line." And then you couldn't be heard, and it wasn't making any sense. But because I had your screen share over the top of the Hangout, I couldn't see that someone had literally joined just to snipe me. Not to snipe me, to mute me.
Yeah, it just shows how dishonest and sneaky these people really can be. I mean, we're exposing the evidence that goes against their belief. I can see why religion is fraught with violence and anger, because they don't like it when their religion is being challenged with evidence that's against their views and opinions. So they'll disrupt it as much as they humanly can.
They don't seem to recognise that it is a religion either.
No, they think that it's based on science, but they don't realise that it is a belief. Right, so
I
Make
put
4
my
each.
email in there anyway, if you guys want to add me or
What?
whatever.
Say again, Make 4.
I've put my email in there.
Yeah, I've added you to or I've sent you the Skype request. You use Skype, yeah?
Yes, I have it.
If you do get sniped, right. So are your initials MK?
Yeah.
Is your icon three televisions in a white circle, or is it the letters MK?
3 televisions.
Yeah, there's 2 people by that match that email address. I'm just not sure which one's which. I'll tell you what. I'll just send them both a message.
Okay.
Yeah, I do think you're right, though. It will eventually reach a point where, I've got half a dozen people on Skype, and I'm not a globehead. For all the people who are saying, "Oh, Nathan's biased," it's like, well, yeah, I haven't specifically announced in any of these debates that I'm a flat earther, but I am. And on some of the early ones, I did point this out in the Hangouts. I can't help but be biased. I am biased. So, am I going to be adding a load of globeheads to my Skype? No, of course not. It will just be the case that people in the Hangout will be open to being sniped if you're a globehead. It will eventually reach that point if the sniping continues. Whoever's doing it, it's your bag. If you're trying to remove flat earthers, all you're literally doing is giving them a better connection. It seems nonsense.
Well, yeah, because we can always speak over people in the Hangout, so that although the Hangout may not hear me, the public chat will. So I can speak over the ballers all the time now, and the chat will always hear me instead of hearing the chat inside the Hangout being discussed. And why do I assume it's the ballers that do it? Well, flat earthers aren't interested in doxing people. Flat earthers aren't interested in causing disruption. Flat earthers aren't complete lunatics. Flat earthers are the only ones that are here to talk, discuss, debate.
That's total nonsense. That's total rubbish.
Well, I've not come across many flat earthers that are otherwise.
I have. Plenty. Part of the reason for doing this show was to show it on both sides, to show the complete nonsense that some flat earthers put out. And flat earthers do dox people. Absolutely they do. I have stopped watching plenty of shows because I've watched them dox people and gone, I'm never watching this crap again. I hate watching people getting doxed. I hate it.
That Arwin's dodgy. I can see him in chat. Proper dodgy, that Arwin. I'm only joking, Arwin. I'm only joking.
No, the thing is, I mean, I don't know why they bother, why they come in and snipe. I mean, I was just literally saying that you wasted your time sniping me because it ultimately made your jobs 10 times harder because you had to spend hours putting the image that Anthony presented to you to the test. Whereas it could have been easily rectified immediately on the day, and you could have had the original composite, and you could have been working
by Rachel.
with that.
Sorry to interrupt you, Auntie. Can you say a quick hello, Rachel? Hello?
As if that's a Rachel.
Try one more time, Rachel. You're about to get booted.
No, let it stay. It's actually a guy.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Too late.
No, it's not.
No, that was me.
Yeah, if you do join the hangout, you're going to get immediately kicked by me if you don't say anything. You know, only the best snipers get past. HootTube is just too good. You know, before I can get the word eject up, he's gone and sniping people. But he's a dab hand, whoever he is. I mean, it makes the show entertaining. I've said it before, if the whole show was just sniping, oh well, you know, we have 2 a day. What difference does it make?
Shout out to the Dodo in chat.
Yeah, he's part of the show. Good to have you, Arwin.
Yeah.
Nice to see you.
Hey, Nathan. Hello,
Morning,
Thor,
Arwin.
and hello, Riley.
Hi, Arwin.
So, when did you get sniped?
Within about 3 minutes.
3 minutes, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I've challenged 3 ballers to come and join us. Paul Voigt, Microbloganism, and who was the other one? Miles Davis. So I'm hoping that one of them 3 come in, and so far nothing.
Well, the issue was that last night you had a hangout, and I didn't actually start watching it till this morning. And the ballers spent 40 minutes ripping into the evidence that the image that you'd sent to them, the composite. And when I came on the show this morning to explain that I never presented that composite in the hangout, and I was trying to tell Anthony if I hadn't have been sniped, I could have presented them with the complete composite, and then they sniped me. So it was basically, they wasted 40 minutes of the time slagging me off yesterday, saying that a 5-year-old could have done this composite. Yeah, that's probably true. But that wasn't the composite that I was presenting, because that was just a very rough draft. And they would have understood all that had they, you know, not sniped me, and they could have had the original full composite that I'd put together and spent a lot of time working on.
Make4, I've sent you a message in Skype. Can you let me know if you've received it?
Hey, Psychic. Hey, about yesterday's hangout, I think there was a behind-the-scene concerted effort to try to derail whatever you did the day before as much as possible, because it was so filled up. I got sniped immediately, very quickly, and everybody's getting sniped these days. I think they made a concerted effort to just make sure that
sorry,
we
Arwin, I'm going to have to
can't
interrupt you. We've
get
got
our
a couple
points.
of new guests. Really sorry, Arwin. We've been joined by Physics. I know you, Physics. Can I say a quick hello to Jude, though? How you doing, Jude? Earth to Jude. You're on mute at the moment. Hello? Can you hear us? Looks like we're getting a new hangout. So In the time it took me to introduce Jude, he's managed to snipe out all 3 guests. Not good.
Wow, there's obviously somebody in there. It's probably Tim Osman, I should imagine. He seems like the logical.
No, don't blame Tim Osman. One. Tim Osman gets a lot of crap.
We can just blame him anyway. Because
I suppose you could.
Yeah. Seeing as we don't know who it is, he might as well take the credit for it. We know he likes to take credit for stuff.
I'll add Arwin to the Skype call, so we've got the 3rd person. If you can hear me in the chat, Arwin, I've just got to do a couple of other things. I've got my hands full for a few minutes, literally. Give me 2 minutes and I'll have everything back on track.
Right, I'll add Arwin. You get yourself sorted.
Perfect. If you can add him to this group call, that would be ideal. Keeps calling me. Just
well, the good thing is,
Hangout to load.
The good thing is about this is that obviously we're touching a very raw nerve for them with this.
Absolutely.
From the Isle of Man, because they want to derail it at every opportunity. They don't want it. They don't want this to be debated when I'm on and you're on, Anthony, and we have the evidence and we've done the research on it. They don't want us to present it.
And the thing is, we keep getting it as well. It's like we don't just rely on Blackpool Tower because we were claimed as being one-track ponies in the same way that, for example, Soundly's had to diversify and do something else. We've gone off and done other things, so we're not limited to just the Blackpool Tower observations, but that in itself is preposterous. But in any event, we've gone on and we've done other things, and this was, again, we spotted this like 7 weeks or so after I'd originally captured it, and it was spotted by fluke, but it's valuable, so it's like, oh, okay, then how's this one explained? Arwin,
sorry, go on.
Arwin, I've sent you the message. Make 4. I'm trying to find you, Make 4. It's not really working. Oh, all right, there we go. Arwin seems to be now in. Let me try Make 4 again. I'll send it to the other one that's on in the results. Oops.
Yeah, Arwin, you just need to click join ongoing call. Okay, I might as well put the link back in the chat now. I've got the Hangout up and running, so if you're in the live chat, you'll get a link if you refresh your page in about 30 seconds' time. Okay, live dashboard. 91 people watching me load a Hangout. Fun.
That's quite a lot of people for a morning show.
It is. Sometimes these morning shows go over 100.
It's good though, because
that's it. Usually the link's in the Hangout. If you join, if you don't say hello immediately when you join, you will be sniped out by me. So say hello if you're joining the chat. Might as well run through my links. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you are enjoying these live streams and want to support this channel, there is a super chat that you can chuck a couple of bucks in if you would like to. And most importantly, if you'd like to join the show, there is a link in the info box below the video. Simply mute the page you are listening to me on now and then click that link to join the show and express your views on the shape of the Earth.
Hi, it's me, Arwin.
Yeah, we've got Arwin.
Are you tapping away there, Anthony? You're making an awful sound.
Sorry, I am.
You are.
I'll turn my gain down. That should be better. You might need to turn me back up, Nath.
Yeah, I will do. I know I can't in a Skype call. You'll just have to turn your gain up a bit more. Is that you, Physics Warrior?
Yes, it's me.
That's how you join.
So, microorganism, Paul Voigt, Miles Davis.
So, before I get sniped again, I was saying, I believe that the Globers, in response to the Hangout 2 days ago, where Riley and the other guy, sorry, you brought up the Ireland being visible thing. And they made a concerted effort behind the screens, probably even talked with each other over Skype or however they contact each other, to just get this out of the way and blur it up as much as possible, because it was extremely chaotic yesterday. It's just a mess. Not because of you, by the way, Riley. So they just...
Yeah.
It was just a giant mess, and we weren't getting anywhere. It was just
What photo
the
was it,
usual.
Arwen, and who presented it?
Make Forrest gone again. Sorry, you were saying?
What photo was that you're talking about, and who presented
It was the combined photograph of the Isle of Man from the coast of whatever the place is to the south of it, and
Was it-
a panorama,
close pictures?
an improvised panorama photo, and it was slightly clumsily added together, but that's still a bit unclear.
Nate, if you want to present
The contours didn't match up in either, or in any, it didn't match up perfectly by any stretch with anybody's observation or idea of what that land was. But just considering that piece of land all the way to the left, that seemed so much further away compared to the rest of it, and it was still land that, I'm convinced that is probably Ireland, just because of the scale of it. But
It's me.
there's no proof, because it's the land contours was
Has Arwen gone? Am I still here? Bronte, are you there? What's going on? Hello? Bronte, are you there?
Check it out, I've got curved water in this hangout. It's fallen asleep.
Nathan, can you hear me?
Yeah?
I don't know what happened then. I seem to have got disconnected for some reason. I don't know if it was me dropping my signal.
No, it's all been fine. I could hear you the whole time.
All right, I thought something had gone off. Arwen, if you add yourself into the Skype call that Nathan's added you into, you'll be able to speak again. Make 4. If you check your Skype, you should see a message from me. If you respond to it and add me to your chat thing, you then can rejoin.
I think I just did.
There we go. So we've got Arwen,
Ranty,
and you on this Skype call.
A good thing they don't know how to snipe our Skype calls.
No. Apparently it is possible, I've been told.
Hello.
Hello.
Ranty.
Yeah.
Just
There
making
is a
sure that you
third
were
link
back.
now in the info box below this video if you'd like to join the call. There's a new link. Simply refresh. And joined by Tony. How you doing,
Is this where
Tony?
you're gonna have it now, Nathan?
Good to see you.
This is where you're gonna have the hangout. I came in here and that Kurt was just sitting there by himself.
Super quiet.
You're right. He did fall asleep.
We'll just do the flat earthers through Skype, and the Globers can do the Google thing
Wait,
because
so
they don't get sniped.
There was another snipe that just happened.
This is the third hangout so far, Tony.
Jeez,
This is crazy, isn't it?
this is stupid.
That's the point.
Is it a coincidence that it's happening when we're ready to go with the analysis on whether it's Isle of Man or Ireland or not, or is it just total coincidence?
No, I don't think
I'm
that's it. I
absolutely certain
I
it's
think
not.
personally, it's someone doesn't like Nathan.
Yeah, hello?
Like
I've
another
got
flat
your-
earther doesn't like Nathan.
Got your Skype
some
up
reason,
now, Anthony, if you
Doesn't
did
like
want
what
to
you're
share.
doing here.
We're getting this show on the road. We've got concrete evidence
Jealousy.
now, Kurt.
Yes, let's get into this evidence, boys and girls.
Well, you've been avoiding it. You've been dodging it.
We haven't avoided anything.
Well,
we're waiting
Dodging,
for
we're getting sniped.
Do you agree that Anthony and Ranty have concrete, solid evidence? Yes or no?
Of what?
Of proof of no curvature.
Nope. Absolute 100% proof. You just said that's what you have.
Yeah. Do you agree or disagree?
So this is your
Disagree.
This is your research now too.
Based on
Paul
what
here,
grounds?
good to see you, Paul.
Hi, I can't promise how long I'll stay. I've been having network problems. I may drop out any time.
You gotta stay, man.
So if there are any objections, Paul, what are the objections?
The objections are that everything can be accounted for. We don't believe that you are seeing the full down to the ground level of the Isle of Man. We don't believe that you are seeing all of the Isle of Man there. And there are certainly
and so much so that you guys
we are
have
certainly seeing
backpedaled.
fraction effects.
So through a process of elimination, you can tell us what you think is going on. Compare.
I think you guys took
Because
video.
we've told you that
Yep.
it's possibly either Isle of Man or Ireland. I think they've established. I think Ranty said today it was Ireland. So we want to know the objections because we want to take this forward.
My objection is that there's no data points. He just says I was near this bluff or it's this distance or that. There's no like concrete like Stanley had. He had 8 hours of stakes in the ground measurements, and we're supposed to accept this as evidence that's right up there with that. No.
Okay.
We're exactly where you're standing. What longitude and latitude? Where exactly were you pointing?
Before you do that, before you do that, Anthony. So before you lose track. So
all day.
I can't hear shit. Did you ask me something? If you asked me something, I didn't hear it.
I was going to say, if Anthony could just stick with that photo, because so far Paul has said that he doesn't think the land is there, from what I could glean from what he just said.
I don't think all of the Isle of Man can be seen to the left or to the right.
So maybe
what do you think
can tell
can
us
be
then?
seen? This is the thing.
What is it on the left-hand side of the photo?
Something. Otherwise, we're going to be going back and forth. What can you see, and what do you think should be there? That's not. And then Ranty can point out exactly. Yeah.
I think we can see the high points just to the left of Douglas, but not that low point that's clearly
hold on. Sorry, Paul. As you're speaking, Ranty can point to the area, so we're not confused. Ranty, you still here, mate? Is Ranty still here?
I am, yeah. I'm still here, yeah.
So if you can just follow what Paul's saying, so he's talking about Douglas, you should point out Douglas, and then describe it as he's seen it. So we're all on the same page.
This this vertical white column here is Douglas.
You guys are crazy. Wow, this is the third day you guys are doing this. This is insane.
Well, we've got to clear it up.
I have
Tony.
I have plenty of
we got to
other
clear it
things
up.
I can show you.
What I don't get is why yesterday did or the first time you brought this evidence, we used one video, and then all of a sudden the next day it doesn't comport with you, and you switch to another video, and we all have to get links again. Is that fair?
Because
is that the way we do it? Do we make two videos, and then when one doesn't work, we throw the other one out?
The other point I'd like to make is, first of all, we were claiming that we could see Ireland on the right-hand side of the Isle of Man. Then we're claiming we can see Ireland on the left-hand side of the Isle of Man. Then we're just going back to the claim that we've actually got, we're seeing all of the Isle of Man and not Ireland.
So we're at the
claim that.
Let me address Tony
Please
first.
explain. Please explain why it's not hidden behind the curve. You're changing your claim constantly. The original claim was that you could see Ireland on the right-hand side of the Isle of Man.
Right, let me respond to Tony first. Tony, Ranty got sniped in the original hangout, and he was unable to correct my position, which was the basic.
He got sniped. He could. I guarantee he has your phone number. You guys talk.
It was right at the end of the hangout. Ranty, do you want to explain to him?
I remember.
I know you've already done it, but do you want to explain to him what the issue was?
Okay, yeah, basically, I just came in and was saying to you guys,
have made dodgy evidence before. You guys did the ISS thing.
People on.
What?
Hello?
Who's that?
Somebody's breaking up.
Who's the Bluefoot? Who's the Bluefoot?
YouTube's gone.
Oh, okay. That was YouTube. Yeah.
All right. Look, this is what's going to happen now because everyone's joining. We're going to forget where we're at. Tony's derailing already.
No, I'm not derailing. The evidence is shoddy. The evidence
Paul was being asked a question.
There's no data points.
Ranty was about to address
it. Be put up.
You're here for derailing, Tony.
No, I'm not for derailing. I'm telling you the evidence isn't on board with Soundly's and stuff.
Yeah, so just hold that point. Keep that point in mind and hold it for when Paul's finished.
Oh, okay. So we're going to go through all the measurements again?
Can I just say a quick hello?
We're going to have to go through all again because we need to clear it up.
Spurs. When we get a new guest, all I need is 2 seconds to hear them speak, so I know their mic works and they're not too loud. That's it. How you doing, Lewis?
I'm doing well today.
Very pleased to have you here. Thank you. Thank you for your patience, the rest of you on the panel.
What's up, Luis? Oh, General. What's up, Luis?
Nathan, could you display my screen, please?
You're on.
The best probably way to do it is Ranty describe what he sees, and then Paul, you should stop Ranty when he says an area that you think is not the area. Yeah.
You're
I
haven't had mediator here.
I haven't had access to the latest version to analyze it and look at it myself.
Yes, exactly.
Let's do it now. We're going to do that right now. That's what we're doing.
If you give me 2 minutes, I can address something that I need to tell you all. That's it. Just 2 minutes. This was the original video, the Flat Earth debate, the first time that you guys were ever presented with this evidence. Now, I know there's been a lot of conjecture about you saying that I might have not put the images in correctly. However, as you can see, the image I present on Nathan Oakley's Flat Earth Debate 77 shows a different composite image to the one that Anthony Riley provided to you. As you can see, this is the side that he was complaining about. You said that this cloud here was repeated in this area here, which in the one that the composite that Anthony sent to you is correct. That was right. But this was basically the first draft that I sent to Anthony that was rushed and put together within 5 minutes. This one took me about 2 hours to put together. And as you can see, this is the one that was displayed on the first time that it was ever showed to you. So it was the correct image where there's no fudging and there's no lies going on. And you spent 40 minutes going over this and ripping into me last night when I wasn't there to defend myself, when all you had to do was look back on the original video with Nathan Oakley, check that I was presenting the same image, and you would have seen that it was a different image that I was presenting. It was a composite that is complete. It is a composite that is as close to accurate as I could have possibly got.
We wouldn't have seen
show the corrections.
Yeah, I wanted to.
They look very similar at first.
Didn't look
You'd
the
have to
same.
examine examine this video very closely.
Hold on. There's 4 people talking. So the first person I heard was Paul. Do you want to go first, Paul?
And I'm not going to make a judgment based on something that's taking up about 5% of my screen. I can't analyse that properly. I would need access to the image and time to look at
what
that.
Are you disputing? What are you disputing then? Why are you disputing what you can't analyze?
Well, I'm disputing.
Why are
that
you
we
just shouting no
Jesus
without
Christ,
analyzing?
For real, Spurs. The evidence is shoddy. There's no data points. There's no longitude
Which
and
is why
latitude. There's no direction.
pointed
This
out,
is not evidence. This is, hey, look, it looks like that's the land over there. We're not doing it looks like
Ranty, let's look at the updated version. Let's just move forward.
Okay, so
I had a
just
look
to
at this.
go
Can I
and
can I show
clarify
you
what I
I
was
found?
saying, in the same hangout when Anthony was asked to provide the
Can
image
anyone
to
hear
you
me?
guys, I was
Yeah,
trying to,
I can hear you.
because I had been actually sniped in the hangout, I wasn't able to say to you guys directly. I had to try and pass the message on through Nathan that Anthony was sending you an image that wasn't the correct image. I had the right image and I could have presented that to you or given it to you, but I'd been sniped in the hangout. And when I was saying this is when I actually got sniped in this hangout.
What's the major differences?
It's kind of irrelevant because epistemology and the other guy, I can't remember his name right now, did their own analysis and put their own composite image together, which I agreed was quite good. And based on their evidence, that's what I'm basing my comment on. Not your
Paul,
evidence,
you've obviously
Randy.
missed a hangout.
I'm basing my comments on their analysis, not yours.
Paul, listen, Paul. Epistemology is based his analysis on the old file that I accidentally, didn't know that had been superseded. So you agree with his comments, but they're based on the first draft. Now I've given him the most recent version
apart and put them together correctly.
Right, this is pointless. This is absolutely pointless. Ranty has an updated version. Ranty has an updated version. Well, why are you going by old ground? Ranty has an updated version. Paul can have a look at this right now, real time, and we can look at it.
I agree with Spurs. It's kind of ridiculous that we're going back and forth about, oh, look at the old photo. This is the new photo. Just pick a photo.
It's because of the bit sniping.
Can I show you what I
the
found?
only reason.
Please.
Great. I'm going to do a screen share if that's okay. I'm going to have to do the whole lot, Nathan. Is that okay? And share my entire screen. Okay, I'm going to do it anyway.
Make sure you get the real version and not the draft version. Okay.
Well, I just made my own version. So can you guys see this? This is Adobe After Effects.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So this is one I made, and I just toyed with the levels a bit just to kind of make the land easier to see. Okay. So some things we can pick out are there's a couple of peaks over here, and there's this smaller peak here. And my target area here is that I want you to sort of take note of is this low point here between this peak and this peak. So there's a sort of a little gully there.
Listen, sorry to interrupt, Jem, but Nathan, could you present what Jem's presenting because we can't see it?
Just click on Jeremy. Oh,
yeah,
well,
bear with me, sorry.
If you could see.
Give me a second.
Yeah, I forgot they're on Skype, so they can't.
Oh, right. Are you seeing it?
You need to give me another, just literally 30 seconds.
Right, sorry, Nathan. I don't want to flick back into the Hangout, so I can't see what's happening.
Okay, you should have Jeremy now.
So, by the way, Jeremy, you're telling us your objection, yeah?
Well, I'll tell you what I found in this imagery. Right. So, can you guys all see this now?
Yep. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, is that everyone?
I can see it, yep.
I'm just letting the advert finish. Just hang on a sec. Yeah, I see it. You good?
Yeah. Right, everyone's commercials are finished. Okay, so let me start again. So the prominent things are there's a peak here and a peak here that we're kind of familiar with, and then a smaller peak here. And then this is the low point that I'm talking about between the smaller peak and this one, yeah? See that?
Uh-huh.
If we zoom in, we can see this building here. You guys see that okay?
Yep. Nice and clear.
Yep. So, which, is quite a distinctive building. It appears to be a tall, white tower of some description. And there's a sort of a white smudge off to the right-hand side. right?
It appears to be 3 buildings. That would be a fair comment, yeah?
Let him finish.
There's another blob over here.
Let him finish, though. Let him finish. Very fair.
So anyway, what could that be? A tall white tower on a coastline? I suspect.
Well, that's your first question, Jeremy. What could it be? Continue.
It's probably a lighthouse.
Lighthouse, yeah.
Lighthouse, right.
Deductive.
So, so I looked on Wikipedia for lighthouses, and I found one in an appropriate position, which is
interesting.
This lighthouse.
Did you match it up on Google Earth, though?
I'm sorry?
Did you match it up on Google Earth to see does it match?
Yes, but I'll get to that. So this is the lighthouse that we're talking about. You can see the building up to the side there. We're at a sort of a similar sort of angle here because you can see we're looking down the coastline a bit there. Right, so in Google Earth, hold on a minute. Now I need to go to here.
I suspect that would be behind the curvature of the Earth.
How high is that right there?
Well, let's see. Hang on a minute.
I'm guessing.
This is
I'm not even going to guess. Never mind.
So in Google Earth, can you guys see this now? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This video is going to be a bit slower in points, I'm afraid. So this is more or less where you were shooting from. That's the kind of angle that you've got of the island.
Sure.
That kind of looks pretty much like the profile that we've got. If you notice, you should hopefully be able to see, you can just see the land over to the right-hand side. And you can also see now, you can see those 2 peaks, and you can just about see the lower peak and the gully, and that's what we're aiming at. It's going to take a little while, I'm afraid, to get across the Irish Sea. I intended to speed this up, but I haven't had time to do that.
Got to clear all that curvature, haven't we?
They don't have a speedboat on Google Earth.
So we will get there in a minute.
Please, sorry that I've said that as a joke, but I would like to explain why we're having to go across the ocean to get the same.
Just I think so we can see that the profile building, and that we can see this land on the right-hand side with a low-lying land, bit of low-lying land.
Jeremy. My point is that we don't get the same view of that island from the beach on Google Earth, and we have to go halfway across the ocean to make them match. Correct?
No.
No.
It was basically
okay.
All I was trying to indicate with this traveling across the ocean was the point, that we are following a line of sight from where you're looking to this little gully, this little low point, and below it.
I'll rephrase my question then. So, can we get the exact same view from the beach at Google Earth as Anthony Riley has? Can we get that exact same view?
Pretty similar, yeah. I think it's pretty similar. I'm at a higher altitude when I started this tour. So here we are at our lighthouse. Whoops.
Jeez.
Don't make us have to traverse the whole water again.
No, don't worry. So here we are at our lighthouse. You can see it's kind of a bit mangled by Google Earth, with the building sort of diagonally up to the side like that. So I believe that that's what we're looking at. And if we go to the Wikipedia page on this, we find that it's 75 feet high.
Well, it should be behind how much feet of curvature?
Well, hang on. Its elevation is 24 meters, which means it's about 80 feet. The height of it is 70 feet, which means it's 150. But when I've done the metabunk calculations for that distance at 31 miles, at 35 feet, 31 miles, it should be 306 feet behind the horizon. So that tells me that it's twice.
Hold on a minute. Can I finish? Hold on a minute.
I mean, he was in the middle of a presentation.
I was speaking before you go off on one. So the lighthouse is 75 feet high. Let me just let me reshare again. Hang on a sec. So screen share. screen share. So, which one is it? That one. Right. So, as you can see, so if the lighthouse is 75 feet high, and that includes the top part of it, and I believe that we can only see the white part of it, and possibly there's a sort of a light brown part of it between the white and the black. So if the entire lighthouse is 75 feet, then I'm estimating that this section that we can see here that is white is about 60 feet. And if we use that 60 feet as a sort of a rough measure, we can see that the gap between the bottom of the lighthouse and the horizon is considerably less than 60 feet. I would say about a third. It's difficult to see, but around about a third, maybe half. But I'm going to go with a third, which is about 20 feet. Which means that what we're looking at there from the ocean to the top of the white part there is 80 feet, right?
This is just pure guesses, though. I'm just putting that out there.
It's not pure
you
guess.
Have no idea.
I've taken the height of the lighthouse, and which is 75 feet. We know we're not seeing the black part, so we must be seeing less than 75 feet, right? That isn't a pure guess. That's extremely educated guess, right?
Okay.
Which means that the distance.
So whenever we do it,
let me finish.
It's just a blurry image
Just
here.
let him get to the end of his point. He's nearly there. Let him get to the end of his point.
Let him finish.
The distance from the top of the light from the top of the white part, which is where the light is, to the ocean, is 80 feet. And when you look in Wikipedia, you find that that distance should be 233 feet. Which means that you guys are missing, what's that, about 130 feet of cliff or something like that.
No.
133 feet
this is supposed
of cliff.
Jem, this is not meant to be visible. It's behind the
away
curve.
you go, guys. I'd like to know where the 133 feet of cliff is, please. Anytime you like.
Jeremy, can I respond to that, please? That lighthouse
One
is
or
meant
the
to
other.
be 320 feet behind the curve of the Earth, according to your calculations.
Yep.
Were you listening to him, Anthony?
Did you just listen to what he did?
I did, but he's ignoring the first part. It's 320 feet below the curve.
Where was that in his presentation?
If the conditions are favourable for refraction, all we're accounting for is about 150 feet.
Yeah, but Jeremy, can you put the refraction calculations on the screen so that we can see it? Because that's the bit you didn't do.
Sure. Oh, another thing I'll point out as well while we're dealing with the inaccuracy of your evidence, is Ranty also claimed yesterday, and we were required to account for. Hang on a minute.
Hang on.
We're required to account for.
I can answer this very, very quickly.
A distance of 50 miles to what's that town called? Is it Ramsey, which is actually 42 miles. So that was another thing you got wrong.
It was Paul that measured it.
No, it was 50 miles.
Paul measured it.
Paul measured it at 50 miles. Jeremy, you haven't done the refraction calculation.
See. So this is
I think I will bring you back on track, Jem. So you just seem to have distracted from this. We have gone through this maths in detail. You're claiming something completely different. I'd like to see that.
Well, we need the refraction.
What was we said first. 35, didn't we? So the refracted hidden is 300.
No. Can you show us on screen?
I thought I was doing.
No, I just got your icon. Sorry to jump down your throat. I thought you thought you were sharing and you're not.
Alright, hold on. What we got? Got so many tabs open. That one. Where is it? Oh, fucking totally lost now. There it is. Shit, it's reset again.
Okay, so it's 31.5 miles.
31.5, isn't it? And the viewer height is 35.
And yeah.
So that gives us 320 feet hidden.
And how tall's the lighthouse, Jeremy?
Well, the top of the lighthouse is about 250 feet, something like that.
We'll now ask you the question then, Jeremy. So where is that missing curvature, Jeremy?
Oh, no, we won't.
For real.
Yeah. We will re-ask you the question why we can't see 133 feet of cliff. Where is it? Because
the whole thing, Jeremy, the whole thing should be hidden by curvature. I'll ask you, why can we see any of it?
Where
I'm getting very angry, Jeremy. You seem to be getting very triggered here. Very triggered indeed. So I'll ask you, Jeremy, according to your maths that you've just shown me on screen.
So which is it? Flat or
You're not going to let me talk, are you, Jeremy?
You the question: where is the 133 feet of missing cliff?
I shouldn't see any of it, Jem. You've just shown us on screen, and now you're getting very angry at it. We shouldn't see any of that.
Because you shouldn't see straight away. You've ignored everything I've said, and you're trying to say it's very simple. Let me answer your question then. We have to account for about 150 feet of favourable refraction. Well within the confines of half the degree of adjustment that can happen with refraction. Well within that. Not the 700 meters, not the 10 miles or whatever it was you were training on Tuesday.
You just showed us the maths, literally. You just showed us.
And you have to account for 133 feet of cliff. So please go ahead.
Can I add something?
Your curvature calculation is incorrect, Jem.
Go ahead.
Okay, Jeremy, if you can shut up for a bit.
I would like to. Okay. Shut up.
I'd like to clarify too, the measurement that I took yesterday was 54 kilometres, not 54 miles.
Right. Miles. It was miles.
And wait, I got something to say. Why is it that it took us to find this lighthouse? I think you guys knew the lighthouse was there. You could have used it as a measuring point, but you found exactly what Jem has found, and you didn't want to show it.
You came to have triangulated the buildings, was the phrase you.
Can I please present Nathan?
That's what I think.
Shoddy evidence. First, you claimed it was island. You got your measurements wrong. You got your image wrong.
So I'm going to have to make this point again, Jem. You've just said, according to your maths, that there should be a hidden 320, was it?
Nathan,
the lighthouse is only.
Okay.
Are you going to talk? You're going to talk immediately over me, Jem.
He already
wow.
gave you the answer.
How unbelievably rude! And now
Nathan,
we're doing it as well. You guys really don't like this point, do you? The whole thing should be hidden, and you're asking me to account for a little bit missing from the bottom. A bit like Lou did yesterday, asking where the beach was.
Yeah, the beach is behind the curvature. I should be asking you.
No. The whole thing should be behind the curvature, Lou. You've just shown us with the maths. The whole thing. You shouldn't see any of it. None of it should be visible. Why can we see it? Why can we see it?
Why are you interrupting me?
Because we can see stuff that we shouldn't be able to see, and you're asking why we can't see the bottom of it. We shouldn't see any of it. Why can we see it?
Question, and I've answered it, and let me repeat again.
You haven't answered it. You've shown me the maths to show that it should be hidden, Jem. You've shown me maths that shows the whole thing should be hidden.
That was great, Jem. Thank you. That was good.
Your curvature calculations are incorrect. Admit it.
No, they're not. This was pointed out to you yesterday.
It's not matching up the perceptions. You're incorrect.
Do you want to bring the maths up again, Jem? Bring the maths up again, if you like, Jem, and we'll point out where it shows. It says refractive hidden.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to show us again, Jem, just so I can point it out to the audience on screen with my mouse?
The limits of refraction, as we've gone over.
Waiting for Jem, Lou.
Are you going to let me answer? Please, let me answer. Okay.
No, just bring up the maths so I can show the words refractive hidden and the amount that should be gone.
Are you going to let me answer?
No, not until you bring up the maths so I can point out to the audience what a deceptive person you're being. Extremely deceptive and extremely triggered, constantly talking while I'm talking. Very rude.
Allow a person to see
very rude, Jeremy. Just triggered, rude, angry, upset. There's no curve. There's no curve blocking that lighthouse. None. No curve blocking our view. The refractive hidden doesn't work.
Why not?
You see,
because it's not hidden, you stupid idiot. It's not hidden, Lou. Are you a moron? It's not hidden. We see it. Don't you get it, Lou? We see the lighthouse. It should be hidden. What part of that don't you understand, Lou? Let's put the camera on Lou and let's explain it to him without him talking. Lou, we shouldn't see the lighthouse, and we do. Do you get it?
And refraction takes care of that.
No, it doesn't. Your refractive hidden was greater than the height of the lighthouse, Jem. I've asked you 3 times. Do you want to bring the maths up so I can show it to the audience?
For God's sake!
No, don't get triggered. No need to get all high-pitched, Jeremy. No need to get all high-pitched.
Because
just show the maths.
I've tried to start this.
Show the maths so I can show the refractive hidden.
I just like to get it out, you know.
You're going to show the maths again, or are you trying to hide it, Jem?
It's like you don't want to hear it. That's what
you're
it's
going to
like.
hide it. You're going to keep it hidden, Jem, or you're going to show us so I can highlight it with my mouse to the audience. The refractive hidden is higher than the lighthouse. We shouldn't see it.
Yeah, no, that means that we should. You did.
It's a really nice double think attempt.
Everyone shut up. Let me speak, okay? Right. This was explained.
Where's the curvature, Jem? Where is that curvature?
I give in.
Where's the curvature that should be hiding the lighthouse, Jem?
Are you going to let me speak, Nathan, or are you going to just play this game? Because I'm
going to play this game. It's good fun. You guys play it with us all the time. It's really amusing to you guys when you're all calling us idiots. Well, Louis is an idiot. He doesn't seem to understand that we shouldn't see any lighthouse. Are you going to let me respond? Got his gormless face on screen right now while I explain to him for the 3rd time that we shouldn't see any of the lighthouse. We've just seen the maths.
Nathan.
Maybe he'll ask me if we can see the beach again.
Nathan, you lose control. I have the balls to show my image, and you don't, and the flat earthers don't. I find that very interesting. I never take my face off because I attach my identity to the things I believe and the things I say.
Right, do you understand that we shouldn't see any of the lighthouse, Lou?
Big balls, big balls.
Do you understand that we shouldn't see it, Lou?
I'd like to hear.
Do you understand that your mouth shows it should be hidden?
Can I respond?
I'm just waiting for Louis to explain whether or not he understands that the lighthouse shouldn't be there. Do you understand that, Lou?
Well, it should be there. I'd like you to
so
explain.
You don't understand. I love it. You don't understand, Lou. You don't seem to get it.
Why you can't see it now? I'd also you would have also been asking Jem to explain something, and now you're moving on to me. You should be focusing back on Jem.
Doesn't work that way. It actually refraction actually increases the observed curvature. That's how that works. It doesn't decrease it. So
you're wrong.
You either see the curve or you see it even worse.
I would really like to. And Paul explained this at length yesterday, and what this and Rumpus did. But what this tells us is what standard refraction is. It doesn't say that refraction will never ever be any more than this. It doesn't say that refraction must be this every single time. This is a mathematical certainty, and everyone must
calm down, Jem. You're very triggered. Calm down, Jem.
It's
no
bullshit.
Need to get so triggered.
That is not
calm
what
down.
It says. It
calm
gives
down,
us,
Jem.
a rough idea.
Get some valerian.
Very angry.
A number that we can work to. That's all it is. And so. You know, all we're talking about is we can see 150 feet more than that says we should be able to, which is easily accounted for by favourable refraction.
Favourable refraction, which we haven't got a maths calculation for, but the maths calculation we do have shows that it should be hidden. With the refraction.
Nathan, did you not hear what I just said?
No, bring up the maths again, and I'll circle the refractive hidden measurement.
Everyone could see that they're wrong.
Yeah, Jem just doesn't want to bring it up.
That number gives us a rough estimate. It does not say that refraction can never exceed that amount. Do you understand that?
In other words, it's inaccurate.
Do you understand that?
So we can't use that calculation, Jem. It's not worth looking at then.
Yes, it is.
Well, let's bring it up then. Let's have a look at it.
It's an average. It gives an average of standard refraction. Standard refraction.
I want to know why.
Standard condition.
Well, your standard is wrong. You just admitted that right here. So your standard
is average. It's an average. It's not supposed to be absolutely correct to the inch every time. It's just an average. It gives us an idea. And this was explained at length how the formula is used yesterday. At length, what the different elements of it were and how that works.
So when it says there's 300 odd meters refractive hidden, we can just ignore it.
So please explain, if we're looking at the Isle of Man on a flat earth, why can I not see 130 feet of cliff below this
You see everything. It's flat.
We see all of it, Jem. We see all of it.
It's flat.
We don't see 130 feet below it.
How much should be hidden? How much of it should be hidden, Jem?
You lie. You just
How
give a
much should be
lie.
hidden? How much should be hidden behind the curve,
I can
Jem?
explain why that part is missing. Jem.
We should see twice the
It has to do with
height of the
perspective.
lighthouse
It's
below
hidden
the
behind the
lighthouse
first slant,
in
behind the
cliff.
first
And
perspective line.
We see about half.
A little
or
part
a third
is
of the
missing
lighthouse
because
in
it's
distance.
hidden
Below.
under the mirage that's caused by the perspective. But still, you see much further than that.
Oh, so we're going for mirage now. You're saying there's a mirage.
No, this is a
You're
mirage.
claiming it's a mirage.
Is it the opaque moisture depth?
vision.
Or is it the dirty layer of air?
It's at the horizon.
No, you tell us why we can see it, Jem. Jem, you tell us why we can see it. We can see it. We shouldn't be able to, according to the
I've
maths you
answered
put
that
up on
question,
screen.
Nathan. I'm not going to answer it again. It's
It's because the maths isn't right. We should just ignore
because
it.
of
It's just a rough
refraction,
guideline.
Nathan, it's because of refraction. Nathan,
refraction doesn't work that
The
way.
refraction says that it shouldn't be
Refraction is the
seen,
answer
according
to
to your
your question.
calculation, Jem.
Have you got
That's
the
just
answer
getting
now?
broken.
Can you repeat the answer back to me, Nathan? What
Nathan,
did
you
I
might as
just
well
say?
switch to the vaxxer, anti-vaxxer debate, dude.
Yeah, Jim
Flat Earth-
Grim's now trying to change
Can
the
you stop
subject.
interrupting and just bringing up nonsense?
Nathan, can I present, please? And
Sure.
put this to bed.
Yeah, let's put this to bed.
Nonsense.
Let's just put this to bed. Yeah. Can you tell me when I'm
You still
presenting,
haven't
please?
answered my question about where the cliff is.
Okay. Right. Okay. So
Can
obviously,
we just,
Jem, you've
I just
taken
want
this
to
Jem's
image.
too
make that
triggered to shut
noted
up.
again. that
Jem's
you
too
still
triggered
haven't
to keep his
answered
mouth shut.
My question
Too
that I
triggered to
asked
keep his
first.
mouth shut. Too
None
triggered.
of you have made
Too
an
triggered.
attempt to
Can't help
answer.
himself. Just too triggered. Too angry. There's no curve. He doesn't like it.
Okay. So basically, you don't have the HD image.
Still, you got about Ranty. You got about 5 seconds before triggered Jem
But go
interrupted
ahead
you.
and explain where
Very
the 130
triggered.
feet of cliff is, Nathan.
Very
Any
telling.
time you like.
Yeah, where's the
Well,
cliff?
basically-
Yeah, I
Very
know
good.
where it is. It's hidden in the mirage. That's at the horizon line.
There is no mirage.
It's
I told you
interesting,
that.
isn't it?
It's
that
not
days
a
ago,
curve,
we were
it's
required
an
to,
optical
we were
effect.
required to find 2
Small
miles
part
of
is hidden.
curvature.
A small part.
There is no
Hopefully
mirage.
he'll,
It's
he'll
way
get,
of
he'll get
there
tuckered
is.
out
the
eventually,
entirety.
Ranty.
You
There's
see, there is
clearly
nothing.
a mirage. Mirages are everywhere on the
Okay.
horizon. It's always a
So
part of
where is the
everything people
130
see.
Okay,
feet
could
of
I-
cliff, guys?
Could I speak for like
Where
a
is
minute without being interrupted, and then you can carry on? That's
But
fine.
only if
I'll
you
just-
answer the
just give me
question
1
where
minute.
130
Just
feet
1
of
minute.
cliff is.
Just 1
Also,
minute,
just
because I
gonna
have the
keep asking
HD
it like
image
Nathan.
here.
Oh,
Just 1
Arwen did
minute.
answer it.
Just
Arwen
1
gave an
minute.
answer.
Arwen, that's not a real answer. That was a dumb answer.
Okay.
Go on.
Here we have the lighthouse. Here we have the entirety of the lighthouse. It is not sitting on a mirage. This is the HD image. This is the image that you do not have.
Is it sitting on 130 feet of cliff?
Well, let me
Is
show
your
you right now. It's
observer
not
height still
130 feet.
35?
It's actually 70 feet.
Your
If I
130
hold
feet do
this
not
is-
prove curvature.
this is
70
Mogold
feet, you
Lighthouse here, and if I hover my mouse over here, over where it's situated on the actual cliff, it's 24 meters, which is around about 75 feet, 80 feet, say. It's actually Google Earth tells me the elevation above sea level of the Mogold Lighthouse. That's 80 feet. The lighthouse itself is 70. That's a total of 150 feet.
And yet in Wikipedia,
Okay, now
the
lastly,
height of the light.
this last part, I'm
Even
going to
if
show you
can go
now.
with those numbers,
This is the last
you
part.
still haven't
This
got-
is the
you still haven't got the
screenshot that I
cliff
took.
beneath it.
This is the screenshot that I took, and I put the lines across where the lighthouse is at the top in these 2 bands of line here, and then we
Why
have
can I see
where it's
lighthouse
listed on the
below
rocket
the
sheet.
second
Jem,
line?
come on.
Yeah,
I
let
know
him
you're
finish.
really
Let him
triggered,
finish.
but just let him get to the end. Come on.
Should we trust your
Come
image
on,
in this time?
Jem.
Because
Try and
I
take a
think your
breath.
lyric's
Count
wrong.
to 10.
Measure a
Count to
refractionary.
10,
Let's do
Jem.
that and say we're
This is the-
scientists.
Your Valerium.
This is the high definition image that you have not been using. This is what I have. You can see the entirety of the lighthouse, and you can see how far
Can
the
you-
base is above
Okay,
the actual
and below
horizon.
the lighthouse. All
And
right,
that
Ranty,
accounts
let
for
me ask you
everything
this.
that you've just
Okay,
said.
Jem,
That
just
accounts
let
for
him get
the
to
below
the
the
end, Jem.
lighthouse.
I
Hang
know
on,
it's
below the
really
lighthouse,
hard
where
and
the
you're
white
annoyed.
stops between the white and the horizon.
Well,
As a
what
fraction
white?
of the lighthouse, how much is that? Would you say that's half?
That's the entirety of the lighthouse. And then
No,
this
no.
part
The
here
question is,
cliff.
right, look at the bottom of the lighthouse, the distance from the bottom of the lighthouse to the horizon, that
From
amount
here
there.
to here.
What is that?
Oh, on this
as a
image here. So
proportion-
when I go on this image here, you mean this one?
Yeah. What
There
is
you go.
that?
Put the
that
lines across
distance?
for you
What is
to look
that-
at.
We've heard your
What is the-
question, Jem. Try
what
to
is the
calm down.
distance?
Take a breath, Jem. We've heard your question. You've said it about 16 times.
Well,
I know you're very angry.
I've said
Try
it-
to
I've said it
calm down.
once,
Let him
actually.
answer.
Okay, so I know the lighthouse is 70 feet tall. I know that it's 80 feet above the actual horizon. So what we are seeing here is probably a discrepancy of maybe 5 or 6 feet. That's all the difference that we're looking at. If anything, it's negligible. It really is negligible.
Right. So even though I asked my question 12 times, according to Nathan, you still didn't get it. So I'll ask it again. Okay. There's the distance between the bottom of the lighthouse and the horizon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
That's an amount. Let's call that X for now. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
And the height of the lighthouse, that's an amount. Let's call that Y for now. My question is, how many X's fit into Y?
Okay, let me print screen that and I will show you now.
Just say a number.
Well, I'll do it right for you. You can tell me where I'm going wrong. You can tell me where I'm going wrong.
Nathan, is this behavior in your chat acceptable to you? Somebody impersonating me and doing all that? But that person is Jacob Vigil, also known as IPS, also known as Flat Earth Network.
The focal height of the lighthouse.
Is that behavior acceptable for you?
213 feet above sea level.
Why don't you type it in the side chat?
Why have you missed half the lighthouse out?
I did, Grim.
The focal height of the lighthouse is 213 feet above sea level. I'm sharing my screen.
Exactly, which would be the top of the white part.
Yep.
Let me look at Google Earth, because you guys are all, you believe in Google Earth, don't you?
My simple question.
I've got actual
elevation. If you look in the bottom here, it says elevation. 12. This is what we all work on. This is what you guys work on. When I hold it over the actual lighthouse there, it says 24 meters. This is using Google Earth Pro. Please tell me that that is correct.
It's not correct.
Well, we could actually, we could either go with Google Earth Pro, or we could actually go with the actual measurements that have been taken.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
and
let's
printed.
Let's see how high
Wikipedia.
I need to get, because we know that the lighthouse itself is 70 feet. So
we
what's
could
the
take
focal
the
length, did you say?
actual measurements that have been taken.
Just let me answer this question. I need to see on Google Earth how wrong Google Earth is, because I'm going to keep going in elevation higher and higher until we get to an elevation.
You're going to trust the CGI program over actual measurements that have been taken.
So,
good on you,
realistically, to get it to 55, how far would we have to go to find 55 meters?
Say bye, everybody.
You won't accept anything that NASA says because it's CGI, and yet here you are trusting a CGI program to give you an accurate result over actual measurements.
I just like how you're squirming.
Well done, Randy.
You like to use Google Earth when it suits you, but when I actually present Google Earth as evidence, and there we have 24 meters in elevation.
And yet the actual measurement is 65 meters focal height in elevation. And 213 feet above sea level.
Where can this be cited from? Where have you cited this information? Where have you cited this information from? Because I'm just taking your word here right now. Sorry?
Do you think they're lying here?
Where is it?
Why would they lie here about it when people can verify? Share my screen.
I am. I'm just asking what the source is. I can't see it on my screen.
Source is Morgold Hot Lighthouse. Wikipedia.
Well, if you take a look at the hangout.
If this measurement is in error, somebody can go in and edit it. Okay? I would trust this over any measurement taken on Google Earth.
So let's apply this then. 75 feet.
213 feet.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that I want to say while I'm here
it doesn't say where the focal length is. Wikipedia, anything can be changed.
It says focal height, 65 meters,
click on my screen. Sorry to interrupt you, Paul.
So I guess it does say that, doesn't it?
Paul. Sorry, Ranty.
It does say
hold on. I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page. If you just click on my screen, Paul, you've now got,
or
should have,
we're all on the same
Ranty
page.
up. You've stopped screen sharing at the perfect
moment.
I've just stopped screen sharing now.
That it's 213 feet above sea level. That's a given now. That's not up for debate anymore.
The question is, what is the 213 feet? Does that include the lighthouse or not?
That says the focal height of the lighthouse is 213 feet above sea level. It tells you that the height of the lighthouse itself is 75 foot.
So again, I'll ask the question: does 213 feet include the height of the lighthouse or not?
That means that you've got about 130 something feet of cliff below the lighthouse. Do you see 130 feet of cliff below the lighthouse in your image? No.
Do we see the lighthouse when we shouldn't?
At least 80 or 90 feet, at least.
They just tried to pull another fast one. That's all.
Yeah, they try to pull another fast one on. I knew it was going to happen.
And the other fast one.
You're forgetting the obvious here. The presentation I just showed you, showing that I was knocking at least 150 feet off your complete elevation. Let's say so we're only seeing down to 60 feet. Where is the missing 300 feet?
In your ear.
That's 3 videos in a row that you
They dance around this point every time we ask it. With Jem, he got very angry for about 10 minutes. But basically, the obscured is beyond the height of the lighthouse. We shouldn't see any of it, but we do.
We see all of it, and the same amount again down to the actual horizon.
Let me get that back up now.
If it wasn't for that old
I've got something else to share when I get to it too.
Oh wait, let me guess. You guys are going to say it's regular refraction or non-regular refraction. What are you guys going to make up this time?
Oh, I had a whole presentation done today to show you so many different observations over 30 miles around the North Sea, and every one of them better than this, if not the same. And I tell you, it's undeniable. It's not just one piece of evidence we have. We have dozens of evidences.
Correct me if I'm wrong, we still haven't had an answer for this. We've just had the only answer we've had so far is it's just exceptional refraction bringing it
doesn't
back.
happen when you change mediums.
But yeah, all we've had so far is the answer is it's a
All we had to
mirage.
do was wait for him to make the video. Everyone else in the world can't find it, but Anthony found it.
Just like Soundly.
Over 16 miles. This is like 100 miles.
So where is
was
this?
he saying that it was 50 kilometers before as well?
I've done the
answer. I mean, this is the whole point.
Calculations here. I've got the Metabunk calculations up here for a viewer height of 60 feet, a distance of 31.5 miles, which I've just measured the distance to Morghold Lighthouse, and we have a refracted hidden of 261 feet only under standard refraction conditions. Viewing over water,
what's not standard about a really clear day, Paul?
35 kilometers is not standard refraction.
Tell us what's not standard about a really clear day.
Now, Flat Earthers.
I'm not, Paul, listen, Paul.
Try and put the elevation correctly.
Yeah, I'm not 42 feet in height. I'm only 6 feet in height.
Anthony, you cannot claim that looking over water a distance of 31 kilometers at such a low angle is standard refraction. That is not standard refraction.
You can't claim it's non-standard.
Anthony, be honest, Anthony. It's not standard refraction, Anthony. Anthony,
how high is the
standard
lighthouse?
refraction refers to
35 feet.
conditions that a normal surveyor would encounter on land, measuring distances of a couple of 100 meters only.
Paul, I've got a couple of issues.
Standard refraction refers to
correct.
Paul,
This is
your viewer
100
height's wrong.
miles.
measuring over water a distance
Paul,
of 31 miles.
You've got the wrong figures, Paul. Paul, you seem to be talking continually, but you've got the wrong figures. You just seem to have made an error. So the viewer height is incorrect, and we still seem to be... What's the total height of the lighthouse, Paul?
What?
What's the total height of the lighthouse?
Yes, we're at... Yes, 213
Change the viewer height.
So according to your maths, Paul, I'm underlining it now. It should be hidden, Paul. It should be hidden.
Refraction causes looming. Don't you understand?
No, this is the refractive hidden. So it should be hidden without refraction.
That's right.
At 326 feet.
Refraction.
You keep talking over me, Paul. You're being incredibly rude. So I'm going to say it one more time. With refraction, according to your maths, it should still be completely hidden. Without refraction.
I have told
you're just not going to let me finish, are you, Paul? You're being incredibly rude again. You're like Jem, extremely angry about the missing curvature. Very Paul, just calm down and let me say it.
Your equations, and then when we come up, when we do the test, you say, "Oh no, we're going to change."
Don't hijack my point, please. Come on, Spurs.
I've got a question for people.
No, Rumpus. I'm talking, and I'm going to get my point out whether you like it or not. According to your maths, Paul, it says it breaks it up between not refracted and refracted. It says it should be hidden behind 326 feet. If we take into account refraction on this exceptionally clear day, It brings it down to 261. And you have fudged the height. It is not 59 feet, it is 35 feet. So you have fudged the maths, and it still doesn't bring the lighthouse back into view.
Nathan, why don't you snatch up all that attitude out of your voice, dude? Because you guys ain't talking about anything with any data points.
Can you see my screen? Can you see the refracted hidden distance? Do you see this?
You are being honest, Nathan, because these
I am being honest. I'm circling your maths, Paul. I've got your page on, Paul. Paul, your page is on. This is your maths. You're presenting, Paul.
That this is looking over water a distance of 31 miles, which is non-standard refraction.
Correct.
These figures do not apply in this situation.
So
the
where's
refraction
the maths?
will
So
be
where's the
more.
maths for the non-standard refraction on this exceptionally clear day?
Right.
And where's the evidence?
Nathan, you seem to think that because it's a clear
Rumpus,
day,
I'm talking to
therefore
Paul.
it's standard refraction.
Rumpus, do you mind? Paul,
What's more, it's going
where
over water,
is
which
the
is
maths?
not
Sorry,
the
Rumpus, you
usual
just don't seem to be
application of this
listening.
formula.
I'm talking to Paul, Rumpus. Shut up. Paul,
Oh, there you go.
where is the maths for the non-standard refraction?
Would you like me to show
Nathan,
you?
I have to intercede
sure you
here.
wanted
More
to do
cold
that.
lighthouse isn't even in the video.
I remember 4 days ago
I showed
we
you
did this
maths
with you.
yesterday. I showed you the maths yesterday,
I've got it
but
here.
I'll do it again if you want me to.
No, you already did it
Right.
yesterday. No, you did it yesterday. They're just keep doing and regurgitating
Yeah, this is
this
a
crap
circle
up.
jerk.
Yeah,
No, it's
exactly.
over. This
You want me to
We
do
have
it
to
again? You want me to do
concede
the
for your
same
maths
thing
to work.
like
We have to
yesterday?
concede it's a
I showed
mirage.
you how non-standard refraction worked yesterday, and now you want to see it again.
Yeah, because I don't concede that we're looking at a mirage.
Everybody stop. Hang on.
We're not
Hang
looking
on,
at a
Ramsey
mirage.
just
We're
said-
looking at land.
Stop.
You're saying we're
Stop,
looking at a
stop.
mirage. You're telling me it's a figment of my imagination, and it
No,
isn't.
Hang on.
Look
hang
at
on.
the lighthouse. The
This is
lighthouse
quite simple. It's
working.
quite simple.
Go on,
With a
Rumpus.
simple question, I think I can identify what people's problem are having.
Right,
If I
Rumpus,
asked you
no,
what the
wait, you're
rainfall
waiting.
was
You're at the back of the
today-
queue.
Hold on,
Nathan,
can I make a
Ramsey
finish?
has just said.
If I ask,
Nathan,
if I asked you,
Nathan,
oh, for
listen.
God's sake.
Rumpus, shut up.
Yeah, Rumpus, you've
I'm
joined
trying to
late.
make up. I haven't spoken yet. I've got
Yeah,
a
we
point
don't care.
to illustrate the
You
problem.
joined late,
Yeah, but
Rumpus.
if
Tough.
you're gonna
I've got a
waffle on for
question
Wait
for
your turn.
everybody. We'll make it clear what
Nathan.
the issue is.
Wait your turn,
Ramsey has
Rumpus.
just suggested that
I
Jeremy's
just
got his
ask a question
identification
of
of the
people?
lighthouse incorrect.
Can I ask
Oh,
a question?
apparently,
Rumpus,
Rumpus.
they don't like to
Lighthouse.
hear
It's
any-
not
I've
the
got to make a
lighthouse.
point that will make
It's
everything
not the
clear.
lighthouse.
No, you can't, Rumpus.
I've got
It's
a
not
question
the
to make
lighthouse.
everything clear to everybody.
Oh well.
Could I present and just show you
You are
where
presenting.
more cold lighthouse is? Can you let me know when I'm presenting,
You are.
please, Nathan?
Yeah, you
Right,
are.
okay, so here we are on Google Earth, and here we have Morgue Hold Lighthouse on this peninsula here, whereas the entirety of the image that we are looking at is from this mountain range here all the way over here to
So
there.
Jeremy's a moron.
So from here to here is where we have the entirety of the
The first thing I
island. that
noticed in
you
your
can film
photo
in.
was that
and he
your
says
island
this is
was
Morgue
floating
Hold
in the
Lighthouse,
air.
which is
Still in the
completely
chat,
Yes,
not even
yes.
in the frame.
You did notice that.
But this is a
yesterday, if I can
spurious
remember
distraction
right, you did.
technique by Gem Panda,
is a
who's
distraction.
misidentified
Well
the
done,
lighthouse.
Nope,
Well
that's
done,
Mr.
Jeremy.
Grimm. Mr. Grimm just puts you down like that. Mr. Grimm.
Well done, Jeremy. This is the slowest clap ever for Gem Panda.
Jeremy failed.
He just destroyed you with a lighthouse. Are you serious? Just like this is
Total
all trash.
fail. What a waste of time that was. Complete waste of time.
Really?
Right.
A complete waste of time. Maybe you shouldn't be doing this,
That's
Nathan.
one
It
thing
doesn't
we
seem like
agree
you're
on.
in it anymore to really get truth anymore.
Right,
No,
I've got a
you
simple
used to be.
I've got a simple question that will illustrate the problem about this refraction business. If I were to ask you what
Hang
rainfall
on, we need to
you've
know
had
what lighthouse
today,
it is first.
Can I?
The problem is they don't know what refraction is. They
Can
think
I
they do.
ask a question of everybody? For God's sake!
Not really.
Right.
Yeah, well, I'm going to
Rumpus
point
with the
out before you do,
conversation.
Rumpus, to the audience that basically we have a problem here. We see things and we're not supposed to see them, and all of the Globers are doing is explaining
saying
why
we're not supposed
we can
to see them, but we
something that
are
we shouldn't
supposed
be
to
able to see
We are.
with maths
With the-
and
with-
bullshit.
with
That's what we're
this
hearing.
Exact science that I think Rumpus
Exact
is trying
science to
explain.
tell us
I'm gonna
why
make a
we
point
see
that will
something we
illustrate
shouldn't
the
be
issue
able to
here,
see.
and I'm not being allowed
Shouldn't
to.
be able to see it. And we can.
Right.
That's the bottom
I'm gonna-
line here. We
right,
see
Nathan,
it.
I'm gonna
We shouldn't be able
demonstrate
to.
why you
You're
have
trying to
the
explain that
problem.
away with an equation.
Right, Nathan,
I'm
can
gonna
we
make
try and
a point
establish
here
which
that will
lighthouse it actually
demonstrate
is?
Why you're having a problem?
Ramsey?
You're trolling. You're so yucky. Wear that, dude.
But yeah, I'll tell you what. I will try and do a little bit more research on all the stuff that I've seen on the image and get back to you later on today or in the next hangout.
How about stop bringing stuff that
Ranty,
you would
try and find
alter?
out which
How about
lighthouse
that?
it is that he has actually found.
Can I ask my question, please?
Go finish your general education.
Can I ask my question?
Can
I
ask the question?
Guys,
Let the Rumpus talk for a moment.
I can't. I need. Everybody's talking over me. I can't even get a moment. Right,
That's
so I have a
what
bit of moment.
That's what happens here.
Yes,
Can everybody wait their turn, please? Come
I want
on.
people to be able to hear the question. Right. The question is, if I were to ask you what the average rainfall was, today, and you said it was 0, then you say, "Oh well, okay, that's non-standard." Oh dear. Every day is non-standard.
What does this have to do with the missing 200 meters of curvature, Rumpus?
It's all relative. We get the point.
Rumpus, what does this have to do with the 200 meters of missing curvature?
So that's
rainfall.
Just gives you an idea, and it's also designed for overland and for short distances. For over water, the gradient is inverted, and therefore you get different results. And we can see this because we can see pictures of the Isle of Man going up and down in videos. I've got pictures.
Rumpus, no one cares.
Going up and down.
No, that's a good point.
That's changing over
that's
period of
refraction.
a few hours. So there's so that's not under standard conditions because we can see things moving up and down over a period of a few hours. So this idea of a standard being fixed is absolutely ridiculous. It's changing all the time.
It is fixed on your map.
There's only a margin in how much that refraction actually changed what you get to see. And it really doesn't explain away there is a missing part, like of the height that you don't get to see. This is in what I call the mirage point at the exact horizon. There's a part missing, but it does not all add up to a curvature.
I don't care.
That's the whole thing. There's something there. There's a slant, but there is no curvature because it should go on, and you can still see things very far in the distance.
No, you guys have brought altered evidence into this, and that's ridiculous. And the fact
he's turned our volume down, Tony. He's turned our volume down, so we can barely hear. I can barely hear you. He's turned our volume
nonsense,
down.
Rumpus. Excuse me,
Oh, yeah.
Rumpus.
Every cheap tactic
let's just mute Rumpus while we do this. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to mute Rumpus, the cheeky sod. Excuse me, Rumpus. So that the audience can see exactly what's going on. Tony has dropped, and he has rejoined, and his volume is slap bang in the middle. No, nothing has been adjusted. He's dropped and rejoined. Every time he joins, I have to turn him up to maximum, which I've not done because he's dropped. I have not turned him down, you cheeky sod.
You haven't turned me down, then?
Nobody's been turned down, you cheeky sod. I try and get everybody to the same volume. How dare you? Unfortunately, people like you, Rumpus, interrupt when I try and do a sound check with people, and then we don't get to do it all the time because people like you and Jem can't shut up.
When Paul was telling us
just go on and on and on and on with the same boring crap.
Don't interrupt Nathan. Come on, guys.
Yeah, I'm sick of it. Bored of this maths telling me why it's a mirage. It's the clearest day, clear photo, clear as a crystal. Nice clear picture. And what we're being told is it's a mirage.
Why did you silence
It's a mirage. Look, here's the maths to prove it. It's a mirage. You're not really seeing it. It's really behind the curve. You can't really see it. It's behind the curve. It's been bent back. Yeah,
do
here's
you
the maths.
want
Look.
to see me do the calculation of non-standard refraction again?
Why is it non-standard?
No.
It's a clear day.
No.
Perfectly clear day.
Well,
What's non-standard
That
about?
doesn't make it standard.
Yes,
You don't know what it is.
Perfectly clear day.
You're
What's
confusing
non-standard about
it's a
it?
standard refraction case. It's not a clear day.
It's not a clear day. It's so clear we can see for miles. But it's not clear. Nice and it's riddled with refraction because it's so clear.
It's 31 miles over water, Nathan.
It should be.
You guys saved refraction on the 6 miles.
Let's identify the building, please. Let's start with that. That's what we need to do.
Can I please define for a moment what refraction really is and what it does to our observations without being interrupted? Just this. Look, refraction does change the angle of what you get to see. That's what refraction does, just as a concept.
Yeah, I want to hear the layman.
Please, can I please finish? Please.
No, let the guy with the Indian.
What it actually does.
Yeah, the ayahuasca guy.
Please, can I finish? For God's sake.
Yeah, let that guy finish. You know how the old ladies, when your dog's humping you on the
You're
leg,
busy
they go,
interrupting
let him
me,
finish.
but now when you're being interrupted, you don't like
Let
it.
him finish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So let him finish.
This is why I told Jem with the same thing.
What refraction
I
does
say it to
is
whoever does it.
it actually bends what you get to see when the
This is a
thickness
nice
of the
little
air or
toss-up,
the
boys.
medium
We're
that
getting
you're
into
watching
something, aren't
through
Can I have some
gets
croutons?
thicker. That is what refraction does. And what it actually does to your visuals is it
You don't know what it
bends.
does.
It creates
What do you
more
do in
curve.
life
It adds to the curve the thicker the refraction is. So,
is that
in a
the P
clear
over
day,
T
that
right
means
there?
that the refraction is actually minimal. And thus,
Oh,
you
okay.
can
Using
see
words
further
that
in an
you don't
actual
even know what
straight
we are.
line. That is how refraction really works. So you guys are flipping it around constantly, saying like, refraction explains why you're not
So it's
seeing the rest
always
of the
minimal.
curvature.
It's
No,
never
it's the
not
other way
minimal, is
around.
it?
With more
You gotta take
refraction,
enough
you would see
ayahuasca
more
balls, and then
curvature.
you'll
I
see it.
know,
Really
dude.
extreme,
You gotta
are we?
It
get
wouldn't
some
be there
ayahuasca
because
balls
it
Make
on.
would
this
be the
clear day
refraction
really
that you're
extreme with
actually
the
seeing.
Everything's standard on the flat Earth. Every bit of refraction is always standard.
Tell me why
We
it's
don't
not
have
standard.
non-standard refraction.
What's non-standard
It's
about this
all
day, Paul?
standard or it's no
What's
refraction.
non-standard about
That's
it?
what you're trying to tell us.
Now you tell us why it's
either
not
no
standard.
refraction
What's not
or
standard
it's
about a
standard
nice clear
refraction.
day?
What
Why
a
is it
load of
exceptional?
crap.
Why is it not standard? What is exceptional about this clear day?
Well,
I
it's
think
exceptional.
Rumpus has
It's clear
something to
day.
say.
It's
Which
a
would
clear
cover
day,
that.
and it's over water. That's exceptional.
Right, so the
That's
observation of a flat Earth
I will
is
explain
exceptional.
it
So
to you
quick, let's
why.
apply that
I will
maths.
explain
Again,
it to
Nathan
you.
asks the
Let
same
me
question
talk.
that Rumpus is
I
trying
will
Oh
to
no, we can
explain
see more than
why
we
it's
we
not
should.
standard.
That's exceptional.
You're
Quick.
not interested in hearing, are you, Nathan?
No need for the
Basically,
standard maths here.
directly
Let's dig out the
add
let's
in
dig out the
explanation.
gish gallop maths for this one.
Dimwit.
And let's just be
believe you
clear,
guys let
Paul
this
has
go
already
through.
positioned himself to say that he will argue non-standard
Not
refraction no matter what,
in hearing,
however,
are you?
whatever
Doesn't matter how
evidence he
far
gets.
behind
Yeah, I
the
know
curve
Nathan
it
can
is.
do the
What
math
is
too.
Paul will
non
bring it back
standard?
with maths.
Like there's
Right,
no
yeah.
refraction or there is refraction,
Does it
and
not
refraction would
This is
increase
I know
the
you can do
apparency
That's
of the
wrong.
curvature. It would increase it. So
Doesn't matter.
in
Doesn't
a
matter how
case where there
far
is
it
no
should be
refraction,
behind the
like a very
curve.
clear
Paul will bring
day,
it back with
it would just
non-standard
decrease the curvature.
refraction.
It wouldn't reverse it. It wouldn't
No,
make
Nathan,
an
if that were
actual
true, we'd
curve
be able
into
to
a
take a
straight
telescope
line
and
so that
zoom
you could see
objects back
far.
into
That's
view,
not
wouldn't
how
we, too?
refraction works.
That,
That's
you're
not how
only
lensing
falsifying
works.
just by that very one
not
thing. Did you know
interested in
that?
hearing an explanation that explains it. He's so
Yeah, but doesn't
biased,
prove
he's
it.
not interested in hearing an explanation that actually explains it.
Explains it but
Rather
doesn't
talk
prove it.
Biased, I think they're too
and
dumb to
not listen to an
understand it.
explanation.
We don't want explanations. We want proof.
Can I
We
explain?
want evidence.
Yeah, you don't want explanations because they might just actually explain what's happening.
Should be hidden.
Or they
It
might
isn't.
baffle us with science
You've
and
got to
maths.
talk your way out of that. It should be hidden. It isn't,
don't
and you're
want it
talking your way out of it.
You just
That's the
want
bottom
to
line
live in
here.
your
Your math
own
shows it should be
echo
hidden with
chamber,
refraction,
think
without
your own
refraction.
little
You shouldn't see any of it.
and
We
you
do.
don't want to hear the
Falsifying
correct explanations.
Yeah, well, you're telling me a clear day is
I just
non-standard
gave you
refraction.
explanations.
Non-standard refraction, exceptional circumstances. It's a clear day. It's nothing exceptional.
Is a clear
It's just a clear
day
day.
the standard
Clear-
atmosphere?
Clear day. Oh no, clear day is really exceptional.
31
Whatever.
miles of
Is
Nonsense.
a clear day the definition of standard atmosphere?
Yeah, but it's okay when it's
Sorry, Kev, did we wake you up?
Atmosphere, which Riley shows over and over and over again. Standard atmosphere applies to specific conditions. If you deviate from those standard conditions, then your refraction will deviate from standard refraction, which again is an approximation.
What is refraction? Refraction is actually optically bending what you get to see, creating more curve. That's what
Depends on whether
refraction
you're a
does. So
baller.
in a clear day, the refraction is minimal. That may be less than normal. But it
depends on whether you're a baller.
What
or you're a
refraction
baller.
is more
What you're
important,
talking
really.
about now. You went off the rails already.
No, I didn't. I explained exactly how it works.
No, you can't back up anything that you're saying. I can back
I'm
up
quite
everything
willing to
I just
explain
said.
why it's non-standard, but you don't want to hear that.
I want to know
You
why.
don't
No,
want to
we want
hear it.
evidence,
I wanna know why
Paul.
this
We don't
is
want
false
maths.
evidence
We
is
want
false.
evidence.
Around it and ignore my pleas
Maths.
to give an explanation.
Ignore my maths.
Hang on,
How
Paul. We haven't even found out what the building
that?
is yet because Jeremy spent the misidentified it.
Shut up.
Yeah, he said 200.
I think Ranty put that to bed already, actually.
Can I
Anthony.
explain it? Are you
Anthony.
going to allow me to explain it?
We had it all
Ramsey,
yesterday.
can you just check?
We had it
allow me
yesterday,
to
and I
actually explain
established
it?
with Rumpus that what we are looking at, according to you, is a mirage. And we're not
No,
looking
it's
at a
not, it's
mirage.
looming.
We're looking
It's not a
we're looking at the
mirage.
land.
It's looming.
We can see it. It's there. And you're
It's
telling
looming.
me it's not
It's
there.
called
It's really a
looming.
mirage.
It's not mirage. It's not mirage. It's
Non-standard
looming.
refraction.
You keep on
Which is with a
asserting
slight
that, Nathan.
variation
Your
of
assertions mean
refraction.
nothing.
It's a slight variation on standard refraction. Remember, the change in refraction over 50 miles or so has to be absolutely tiny to do this. And because we happen to use a standard value of 7/6...
Rumpus, why does refraction never go the other way?
It does go the other way, you moron!
It does! No, it doesn't.
Yesterday.
Your mathematics only calculates for down, Rumpus.
Why don't we see airplanes land on there?
You don't even know what a sine function is in trigonometry. You're not qualified to have an opinion on this. You don't even know what trigonometry is.
Qualified to have an opinion. That's a good one. That's a very
he's not.
good
Don't
one.
you think you might need to know about trigonometry?
Hey, let me ask you a question. Are you triggered?
Before you do, Arwin, I'm really sorry
like
to interrupt, but Gem Panda from the chat, and he was sniped to his credit, has asked. He says, "Look, he's trying to dig himself out of his hole." So I don't know, Anthony, if you want to disprove Gem in a more concise way, feel free.
Nathan, he didn't dig a hole. He beat your evidence, and then you silent. Come on, Nathan. This is fun and all, but come on.
What? What's the problem? The lighthouse shouldn't be seen, according to if it's a lighthouse at all, that is, which might be quite comical if we find out.
Well, wouldn't you think the people that make copy
Rumpus, it appears that it isn't the lighthouse. We need to identify what the building is, then we can talk about how bendy your light is. But in the meantime,
it's possible that it's just a small sailboat, you know.
Absolutely, I agree with that, Anthony. But you do not understand the fact that equation, the Paul.
I couldn't catch the last sniper. I didn't manage to eject him, so he's in the back chat, and I've run out of hangouts.
No. He's a ninja.
Ninja.
But in the meantime, there's only 5 minutes of the show left. Is that right, Nathan?
Okay,
5 minutes.
Okay, listen. Can I just make a point, Nathan, please? So this is nothing to the flat earth. There's a guy. It's IPS in your chat, yeah, and he's got a picture of Lewis as a small child talking about diddling little boys. And I don't know if you're aware of that, but I think that's like
what about all the shit I've had?
No, but diddling little boys, come on, like
this. Doesn't matter.
Right.
If I'm not protected,
you think
why
there's
should
not a distinction
Lewis be?
there? You think there's not a distinction to be made? Because
Sorry,
Nathan was happy. No, wait, I want Nathan to answer
see.
this because Nathan's like happy to ban the Geronism socks and
What are
we're
you
really
booting
doing
people
anything.
for? What's going on there?
But, what's up, Graham? But you know, he doesn't want to ban something like this, which is obviously quite sick. I mean, look. I know we're on different sides of this and everything.
There's no
but you know,
protection from me.
someone goes
Why
too
should
far,
you-
we all stick up for Nathan. We'll always be there to say, no, come on, this has gone too far.
I'll address it if you want me to.
listen,
Get a chance.
I
Get a
get
chance.
I get abuse.
Okay, so number one, I've got 3 chat feeds in front of me. I keep a very close eye on the chat. I know exactly what's going on in there.
Oh,
number two. During these debates, I've banned several people for illustration purposes. So I can't remember who the first one was, but somebody specifically asked me to ban their sock, and literally within seconds, the identical sock returned. And I did the same thing with Jeren, and I did the same thing with Lewis Hackett. The only difference slightly difference was with Lewis, because I banned his sock, and then he told me that's actually me. And I went, really? So I then had to unban Lewis's sock, which was actually him.
So you're saying that you've seen it, but you didn't think that was warranted at least deleting the comment from...
Let me give you my
It's not worth
explanation.
it. No, raping little boys. No, that's fine. That's an okay comment.
I haven't got to the end of my Alex, I've already
How's it
heard
any
your question. I am explaining it, if you'll let me. Right.
Okay, carry on. Sorry, I thought you'd stopped. Sorry.
No, not at all. I was literally in the middle of a sentence when you interrupted, but that's okay.
You cut out. Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
My apologies if I cut out. Okay. So, I can see the chat, and regardless of whether I ban somebody or not, the illustration I like to make when I ban somebody, although it didn't happen with Jeren, admittedly, unfortunately, was that they immediately replaced that with exactly the same sock. Now, if I ban somebody, they will just return and they will say whatever I like. If I continually ban them, what they will then do is make the message that they want to put in their message. So let's say in this case it's about fiddling children. They'd put that in the name of their sock. So if I ban the message or the account, their message still goes up the chat. In other words, it is relentless. And I assure you, having done this for 2.5 years, you cannot win. So what I've done is taken a different approach. I put it on screen. Anybody can see the crap, filth, cesspit that is the chat. Now, I don't control the algorithm for the chat. YouTube control it. I don't control that people can have 1 million accounts and make their account name filth. YouTube controls that. YouTube gives that privilege. I've got no control over it. So what I'm going to do instead of trying to defeat it with the tools, the shitty tools they give me, is show it. All can see it. I'm not going to ban anybody. And when I do, it's to illustrate the point that when I do, they immediately come back with another sock. So nothing I can do at all to solve this chat problem that you have. Doesn't matter who I ban.
Well, as long as people know, then
Did you ban me?
You know, that's a fair enough comment. Then you won't mind me saying that we know that that is Infinite Plane Society, by his own admission, saying those things in a chat to Lewis with a picture of you of Lewis as a small child.
I've got one more point, Alex.
I get the same level of
I've just got one more point, and then I will shut up. I promise. We've got about 10 minutes left. What I will say, Alex, is the platform is welcome. I welcome everybody, including you, to make this point. So you have now publicly made the point that IPS, according to you, without any evidence, admittedly, you said by his own admission.
Yes, but we do have actually evidence, but yeah, we don't, not right here.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have a show without us, so probably.
I agree.
No, but
I'm very
you,
grateful that you're all here, but you have this platform to publicly tell people that is the case. And he's available. He can come on and challenge it.
Yeah, he won't, because he won't want to admit to that easily. It'd be a bit obvious, wouldn't it?
But your grievances have been heard, is the point, and the chat is on screen, so it's not like that's hidden and people can't see what you're saying.
I appreciate that.
I think he's right. It's a bit extreme.
But I appreciate what Nathan's saying. I appreciate that he's allowed me to make that statement because, you know, that backs up what he's saying, right? You're showing it publicly. And yeah, that's good. I just thought you didn't notice it, so I just came.
I've got 3 chats up. Believe me, I can see it. I've got it on 2 screens. One of them's 8 foot. I can see the chat, I assure you.
The comment section's getting crazy. I gotta look.
But it's not that it's crazy, it's just that IPS has lost his mind over Lewis, and he's been doing this for like a day or 2 now on this account.
Yeah, but
Lewis
Alex, let's have the context. I have people like Mark Taylor and co doing exactly the same to me. It's no different.
No, not even close to what IPS is doing. IPS is
no. It's exactly the same. Exactly the same.
Yeah, you guys.
I've been called a paedophile. I've been called a rapist. I've been called everything that he's being called. It is no different. Nobody is no different to me.
Try to put
you shouldn't be given any special
Riley in some sort of important position in all of this.
Lewis is a trigger man.
You're not being punished. You're not being harassed.
Nobody cares.
I couldn't give a crap. I've gone beyond it, if you're honest, Alex. The realism of the situation is that I don't care. You know, I've got people saying, "Hold on, why have you got Ranty Rant? Didn't he publish videos?"
Yeah, you
with
misunderstood
rape
that, Nathan.
scenes?
I was having a go at Ranty, not you. Like,
I
understand why
get it.
you've got Ranty on.
I know, and I'm making your point for you, and I agree. The realism of the situation is, I stand by this. All are welcome. Everybody's welcome here, and I'm not going to kick Tim Osman in the same way as I'm not going to kick Ranty. They may have valid points, and they have, and I'll commend them. You know, when Tim Osman's funny, I'll tell him he's funny on air. I don't care if he emails me. I'm not going to respond to that crap. You know, I'm not interested in being his friend, but on air,
you misunderstood
all
my
are
comment,
welcome.
Nate. I was actually having a go at Ranty. I understand perfectly why you have him on, and I think it's good.
Yeah, fair enough.
I was just thinking it's funny that Ranty comes on after all the things he said about you.
All are welcome. All.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate that.
It's a good libertarian
How does the
attitude.
vernal equinox work on the flat Earth map again? I was trying to figure that out. Is there any
Nathan, let me
explanation
just respond to Rumpus for a sec. Alex, we've heard what you said now. I just want to make one point to Rumpus. Rumpus, you're complaining about refraction and how it doesn't go down according to your maths. If you actually read the mathematical equation of standard refraction as per your model, it goes down all the time in accordance with this little sneak preview of a clip. Oh no, it might
What
not
part
play.
of the equation
Yeah, there we go.
does it say?
I just explained this extensively.
Yeah, down from where?
Refraction
Down from-
only
it's
increases
from the
optical
observer.
curvature. It cannot decrease it.
From the 7.6. You already established, Anthony, that you don't understand anything that's going on there beyond putting it into the calculator.
Right.
Okay, so to
I
say
don't
that
even
you're
use a
professional
calculator.
doesn't know what
I
you're
just
doing.
understand it. It's optics.
From the object going down, which would be up to you. You would think it's going up to your position being the observer. So you might
we've
be a
been
little
through that.
backwards.
Down.
Refraction is a lens
Trying to explain to Anthony why
And
it
the thicker
sometimes
it
goes
gets,
up and
the
why it
more
sometimes goes down.
you get to see a
think
curve.
you
That's
have to.
how it works.
He just
And it doesn't
Okay, we
work
can do
the
it
other way
again. Pretty
around
simple,
unless it's like a
really.
hollow lens, and that's not that's not the effect.
well, you think everything's a hologram, so really, I mean,
No, I don't think everything is a hologram.
yeah,
Not
you,
at all.
You think a lot of stuff's holograms.
No, I don't. I only think the heavenly
The
bodies
thing
are
is,
holograms.
Anthony, we explained to you yesterday why it went up sometimes and why it went down sometimes, and it obviously went
and the
straight
maths that
in
you
one ear and
presented
straight out the
yesterday,
other.
I agreed with.
Yeah,
But
it
you
went
didn't
down and then
understand
up.
the explanation.
I agreed with the math you presented yesterday. Maths is
linear.
not
No, you
your
didn't.
calculation for
So why are
subtraction.
you still claiming that it always goes down? If you agreed with
Because
the maths we showed you,
7/6
why
R
are you
goes
still
down.
claiming that it always goes down?
6 R goes down.
Say that again,
Oh,
Anthony.
you cannot agree on something you don't understand.
Say that again, Anthony.
7/6 R goes down.
You obviously
not
didn't
difficult.
understand the math then.
Damn it. The first word I didn't get again for some reason.
7/6 R goes down. That is simple maths. Everybody understands that point.
7/6 R is one value of the coefficient of refraction.
Yes, but Paul, my point is it's
not
your
even the
value.
input. It's not even input. It's an
It's an
I don't
output.
know what to do with this.
it's an output.
It's just
It's
a
a
number.
constant.
You're
Anthony,
just
it
you're
is
not.
not. It is
It's
not
just a number. It's just a
the entirety
calculation.
of the values. You
It
can
doesn't
have
actually
different
work.
values than that, Anthony.
You can have 5/6. You can have 2.
Yeah.
Whatever. Put whatever.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Like we're getting Anthony. It's okay to say you don't understand it. I don't know why you got to keep pressing forward. You know, I mean, just say you don't understand it, like you do with Gio, and then Gio and Hank will help you.
About 3 minutes.
We will
left.
help you.
3 minutes left.
This was.
Can
fun.
you guys explain? Can you guys answer a question with yes or no?
No.
And that
maybe,
is,
maybe.
does
No.
refraction in the air, as we experience it, can it
No.
decrease? What can it like decrease, reverse, bend what we see in the distance, or does it actually bend things we get to
Depends.
see? In the
What's
distance?
behind
Lenses
it?
do.
What's the temperature? What's the barometric pressure?
No,
What's the
that's not what I'm
distance?
asking.
all
I'm
these
asking you not about a
variables that need to be
specific
inputted.
thing. I'm asking you about the entire spectrum. How does it work? What does it do? Does it increase? The thicker the refraction is, the thicker the atmosphere is, does it increase curvature or does it decrease it? What we get to see in distance.
I've lost half the panel.
I guess I'm next. Hi, everyone.
Unbelievable. Well, I'm glad I got to make that point. Thanks, Alex.
That's all right.
Often I get to
I'm
make
glad
them.
I got to make the point as well. I think it's not
So
good
IPS,
behaviour
you
at
say,
all.
has admitted
Terrible.
that he's doing this trolling.
He was doing it in your chat last night, and he made it really clear who he was. Yeah, couldn't be clearer.
Well,
He
thanks
knows
a lot
stuff
for
between
that.
Lewis
You're
and
only
IPS.
making things worse.
And
I
only
don't have any
IPS
problem with
says
it
things
because
like
at the end
that.
of the
It's so
day,
obvious.
the ballers are the trolls. And if IPS is countering it, I agree with that. So fine. It is what it is.
But you
Pack in the
haven't
trolling
seen
and I'm
it,
sure he'll
and
behave.
you've got to be really careful before you stick up for things you haven't seen all of it yet, because I don't think you will stick up for it.
Yeah, I don't.
If you've
Yeah,
seen
but
it.
at the end of the day,
Keep
if he's
referring
countering
to
the
the
trolls,
calculators,
I'm
but they
fine with
don't
that.
actually understand what they're dealing with. How the
Okay,
spectrum
sorry,
of
I
it works. They
think I was
just
talking
keep
about
on
something else,
using
sorry.
their calculators. It's ridiculous.
You don't understand
Alex,
Yeah.
that same sentence can be said back to you with supporting evidence that goes against your
No,
model.
Nate. This is a different issue. Like, this is someone being absolutely disgusting. Quite frankly, it's
Yeah,
unacceptable.
but I get
behaviour.
the
This isn't
same.
just
I get the
arguing
same,
about,
so I don't see how
flat
it's any different.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
mean,
difference.
I've been there though, Alex. I mean, Tim Osman, who's in the chat right now, will attest to this. I have sunk really low. I mean,
I know, I've
really
seen
low.
it.
Some people have seen it. Some people
I
haven't.
remember
but
it well, Nathan.
I've countered
Nathan,
Tim
who
Osman's
just booted me
tactics
out
by
of the
going,
room
I'll
again,
sink
Nathan?
even further and just be worse than you. I'll be a worse troll. You know, to the point where he was,
Is that you?
appealing to the audience and saying, "I'm going to sue you," and he was very funny. But the point is
but
that
you don't think
I
like
can
you
relate.
said, you're not. It's not something you're that proud of, right? You see,
No,
sunk low,
not at all.
so,
I'm
yeah.
not proud
So
of
that's
it.
what I'm
No,
saying.
but
It's fair
I can
enough
relate.
to say.
Is my point. I can relate to what he's doing. Don't agree with it, but I can relate to it.
Yeah, I don't think you could quite relate to everything he's
No,
doing.
I can't.
You
You're right. I've seen the
Maybe
chat.
not Alex, but the
Gone
point
quite
is
this
that
far,
he's just
but-
getting back what he's been given, isn't he? So if he's paying giving
What's he
punishment
really been
back to
given?
people,
Like, what have we? Like, I mean, like this is. I mean, I'm not going to go into the details. You've probably heard about it already, but
it doesn't matter.
know,
It's
this is
trolling, and if
quite
we
sad.
take it, so should Lewis. If Lewis is on the receiving end of it, tough. Maybe he should behave himself a little bit better.
Oh, so then it's all right for everyone to troll you then. So should we all call you a pedo? And that's
Everybody
fine.
trolls me, dude.
And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you, first and foremost, to all of the live audience for joining us and sharing this debate. Massive, massive thanks. And of course, a huge thank you to all of the debating panel and the snipers for making this debate possible. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.